But first off, let me see if I'm back yet. All right, what's up, Be More Bun? How are you doing? Yeah, I'm running Streamlabs OBS. Okay, that looks better. That looks a lot better. I changed a couple of things. I learned a lot about streaming over the last 2 days. Way more than I wanted to know. But it feels, oh, that's some echo. Okay, so we have some echo. Hold on. Let's see where it's coming from. Where could mixer routing? It's gotta be coming through. All right, wait. Oh, wait, I wonder, so on, what about, let me actually hear myself. Test. Whoa. Get ready. Get set. Oh yeah, it's picking up 2 things. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. Definitely some echo. Here we go. There we go. Is it fixed? No, are we still dropping frames? Okay, I think that's better. I got one little thing here. All right, that's better. It skipped a few frames, but it looks like it's holding up better. All right, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep going. All right, we're gonna keep going until I see it pop back up. I think we're good. Man, when I tell you the struggle I've had with this setup over the past 2 days, yesterday, thank you for saying save the layout. I actually don't know how it did not get laid out, but thank you for saying that, because now I will hit the save, overwrite configuration, done. All right, we're uploading fine. Yesterday we were having some internet issues, which was interesting. There must be some other issue as well, because right now internet's looking good. You know, I do pay for Comcast gigabit internet, but you know, sometimes they decide they want to give you less than 1 meg up, which is a problem, but I think we're good to go today. This won't be a problem in the future. I'm moving everything to my office. I was supposed to move everything to my office today. I used to stream out of my office for anyone who's new to the channel. I do work out of my office, but I used to stream out of there. The only reason, they have significantly faster upload speeds and more reliable internet, but I'm not there right now, and Comcast wants to play games with me. I might get some Comcast business here. I don't know if it's more reliable. I might ask to find out if it's more reliable, but I think we're okay. I think we're good to go right now. It's been a very frustrating past 2 days, but welcome. Happy to have you all here. Today is Horizons Day 2, and today we're going to be diving all into EC2, and it should be fun. We're going to get into EC2, probably, you know, one of the service people probably think about when they think of the cloud. Not Amazon's most popular service, but got to be up there, pretty heavily utilized. It's pretty dope, and we're gonna learn all about it today. So it should be pretty easy. Let me go make sure everything got released in the classroom. One sec, because I think I made a mistake with a bunch of the stuff in classroom, so I have to switch up the times. I selected the wrong time, and so it might not be released yet. Let's get in there, make sure you all have access to the slides, and that everything is good to go. But welcome everybody. It's good to see you. First off, let me say hello. My bad. Let me back up. I got a little flustered because we had issues yesterday, and I thought we were gonna have issues today. But Jalopy Jones, first, you made it. Good to go. Number 1. Amame, welcome as well. Yo, how you doing? Thank you so much, Penguin Airlines, for rooting for me. I think that good energy has shown through. It came through the computer screen, and I think we are having some good energy over here. Things are looking pretty good right now. What's up, Unique ID? Good to see you today. Shred Ghoul, welcome. Razor Suit, good to have you. Aya, Colombian Kid, I love it. Be More Pun, again, it's always good to see you. Welcome, man. Hitman, how are you doing today? Aban, how you doing? Ritvik, hope you're having a great day. Manute, good to see you. Hellfire, always a pleasure. What else we got in here? Anyone I missed? White Wolf, good to see you as well. Rusty, how are you doing? Are we going to be doing an IIS cloud setup using EC2? So that's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. We are going to be using EC2. We're going to be learning all about EC2 pretty in depth. We're going to learn about the EC2 service. We're going to get hands-on with it. We're going to set it up. We're going to get logged into one. We're going to also just learn about web servers a little bit and set up a web server just so you can, if you have no idea what to do with the service, now you have something to do with the service. So Be More Pun, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, coming through with the love. I appreciate it. You know, we got a We got to band together, us Baltimoreans, I guess. You know, I'm relatively new Baltimorean, but you know, that's us. What's up, Sully? Good to see you. How are you doing today? What's up, Real? Thank you. I'm glad you love the aesthetics of the stream. All right. Absolutely, Schwarbomb. I, you know, you only can do what you can do. But like I said, I do have a solution for this. I'm going to get everything moved back in. Today was one of the busiest days I've ever had as a business owner. Been pretty crazy. It was like, I'm not joking. I had meetings almost back to back since I woke up, and I had actually planned on taking this in, but I actually just got off of a meeting with my interns at maybe 10 minutes ago. And you know, it's been a long day, so I never made it to the office, and I probably won't be able to make it before tomorrow morning since we stream at 9:30, doing the redo of yesterday's stream tomorrow. So you know, hopefully my internet holds up just long enough so that I can get everything moved over on Sunday, and it'll be all good. It'll be all good. All right, or Paz. So yeah, I mean, we can set up a platform as a service. We could using EC2 if we really wanted to. We could absolutely do that. There are platforms as services out there set up using EC2 for sure. What's up, Rogadius? How are you doing today? My business is purely about empowering engineers and helping people get into digital engineering to solely serve the businesses of digital delivery, of software delivery. You know, a couple different pieces. This is one part of the business, Mastermind Academy. Free training for all. That's all it is. You know, want to make sure that we're able to ignite passion in tech and give really scale opportunity in tech. How do you scale access? And this is our way of scaling access and making companies foot the bill. So we're making some strategic partnerships to help out with that. But we do a lot of corporate training as well. So if your organization needs any training in some specific things, we have a few people on board helping out with some of that stuff. I can give you all information on that. If you want to go to mastermind.io for that. And we also are going to be helping get people placed. But we're going to do this. We're not going to be a recruiting firm. There's some cool things being set up right now around that to really help. Like as people come in here, as you all come in here and you're learning and you know you're going on your journey, you know, we want you to be able to have access to these companies and to be able to start conversations with these companies because they need you. They really do need all of us. And we want to be able to make sure we can all start that conversation that when you're ready to move into one of these companies, you can walk right into the door. So that is what the business is about. I can give you some specifics later. No, is this design different? It shouldn't be any different than yesterday. No, this should be the normal, I usually don't stay on this screen that long. Usually I'm on the Academy screen, which I'm about to go to, which I hope is still set up after yesterday because I did mess up most of my stuff yesterday. But let's hop on over here. What's up, Aya? How are you doing today? All right, let me get you all the slides for today. There are a fair number of slides, but it's going to be pretty fun. EC2 is a good service. It's always fun diving deep into your first service. We did an intro to IAM, but we didn't dive deep into IAM. The reason why we didn't dive deep into IAM yet is because a lot of those concepts don't really make a lot of sense until you know about other services inside of AWS, and telling you how to get access and to do different things in each of these services kind of doesn't make any sense until you have a feel of what these services are. And so that is what we will be doing. I have a bunch of stuff scheduled to go, but so your first quiz, for all the classes, because I had to change some stuff in Google Classroom, everyone's quizzes, everyone's assignments drop tonight after this course is over. Wanted to make sure, you know, give you till now. You don't got to start it. You don't have to start at any time. There's no time limit for when it is done. But you know, just try to get it done before the end of the 8 weeks. But that will go down tonight. Let's create a topic really quick, which I never did. That's why they're not going to release underneath this. And let's add the first material, which is going to be the slides for today, just so you have them in here. No, not link. Google Drive. And these are going to be the slides from EC2 and Linux. And let's put them underneath that one and let's post them. So tonight it says EC2 and Linux. What? That's not, hold on. That attached to the wrong one for some reason, even though I clicked the other one. That's super odd. Well, let's fix that really quick. No big deal there. Slides, how do I fix that? One's a good slide, but I combine these slides So we can delete, can I edit it? Edit. And remove this one, add Google Drive. And I thought I'm gonna click on the one that said this. All right, there we go. Let's save that, and I'll share the link with you right now. Share for anyone who needs it. Anyone with the link, copy the link, share it all out there. Manuk, thank you so much for continuing the sub that you were gifted from Nico Co's. I appreciate that. Nitro Sage, good to see you. We're all up. We're all running today. Things are better. Things are you know, we're doing okay today, y'all. We're making it. All right. Let me move this over here. Let me also pull up my system monitor so I can make sure my computer is not going to die on me. Make sure my temps are good, because that was something we were monitoring that we thought were issues, but my temps are looking really, really good right now. You know, 50 degrees on the CPU, 50 degrees on the GPU. That's, you know, everything's, we're looking good today, y'all. Just good time to be happy. All right, move this, and now we're ready to go. Manu, thank you, or Manu K, or thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. All the recipients of those subs. We don't like ads, and we are our duty in life is to get rid of advertisements. You no longer have to watch any advertisements. So please thank your gifter. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's the perfect way to get us started and to get going. And that's what we'll do. So it says EC2 and Linux. We may not go over the Linux stuff today because we've gone over so much of Linux in the other courses, but if we have time, we'll do basic Linux command line stuff. You will end up doing some Linux stuff today regardless, even if you never have, but I'll go slow enough so that you can copy and do what I do. I'll try to explain some of the stuff to you, but that's not the focus, okay? The focus of tonight is the cloud and learning EC2. So I told you it was just someone else's computer. That is all it is. Whomping Willow, thank you so much. 5 months in a row. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you. All right. What's up, AI? What's up, AI Luna? Good to see you. What does EC2 stand for? Well, it stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Very boring name right there. I already told you, when you're in AWS, you get acronym soup, and that's what we got right here. And so Elastic Compute Cloud, this is what EC2 stands for. E, C, twice, okay? The C is having twice, Elastic Compute Cloud. What it is a secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. We talked about those different resources, compute being that CPU, that's the main focus of here. We also know CPU can't work without RAM, so you should already be thinking that it comes with RAM as well. But what it really is to you is it is a virtualized server. So it's a virtual machine, essentially. That's what you can think about it as right now. It's what it is. It's a little bit different, but it's a virtualized server. So this is what most people are thinking of when they think of the cloud and servers. This is your generic. You want a server, you go get an EC2 instance. The good thing about them is that they can be provisioned very quickly. Provision meaning they can be, you can create one. You can actually get one. You can get access to one very quickly. You can have AWS create space for you, and you can gain access to it very quickly. And it allows applications to scale up and down very easily. You're going to learn about what scaling means tonight as well. But this is why EC2 is great. Scale, it can scale up and down very quickly, and it can be provisioned very quickly as well. And it is a virtual, resizable, secure compute capacity inside of the cloud. All right, so the resources that it uses, remember, one of the first things that we learned is we are renting resources from these cloud providers. And so what resources do you get here? Well, the resources that EC2 gives to you are compute capacity, so the CPU. So if you want to do some processing, if you want to crunch some numbers and you want to make some stuff happen, this is where you want to go for that. So they give you vCPUs. They're doled out to you in virtual CPUs or real CPUs if you get big enough stuff. RAM, so you also get random access memory here. You get that volatile temporary storage that's very quick to make your stuff work as well. And you also get storage here. So it's a computer. It's like a computer that all the things that you need to run a normal computer is what you are going to get inside of here. Are we going to mix AWS Lambda with EC2? Probably not. We're probably not going to mix them. We are going to do a whole Lambda lab at the end. We will do a lot of Lambda in the intermediate course. We're actually going to do a significant amount of Lambda. Things have been adjusted a little bit. There's going to be a good amount of Lambda in the intermediate course, if you're interested in that. But we're probably not going to mix them together at all. All right, back down. So, if you were to get a server from, if you want to use this resource and you want to get a server from AWS, this is called an instance. So you will be retrieving an EC2 instance. You'll be provisioning an EC2 instance, one instance of Elastic Compute Cloud, okay? And so there's a link here. I want you to click it, and I'm going to share this with you. There are many different types of instances, okay? And so what do we mean when we say types? First off, if you were to grab a server, if you want to get a server from someone, and you want to rent some server space, you need to know how much space you wanted to rent. So you need to know how much CPU you would want to be allocated, how much RAM do you want to be allocated, how much hard drive space, how much storage space do you think you need? And you have to, you got to tell Amazon what you want, and they will give it to you. Now, everything in the cloud, for the most part, is pay for what you use. So the more you rent from them, the more you pay, obviously, but you're only going to be paying for what it is that you allocate from them. But a little bit further than that, to make selection of this easier, to better tailor solutions for your needs, Amazon gives you some different types, different instance types. All right, and what they're there to solve a specific purpose, so you're going to be getting these things because you want to do something with them, and they're going to solve a specific purpose. So they have a line of EC2 instances that are general purpose for, hey, whatever you might want to do. And these are typically, this is one of the harder parts of AWS, is kind of the identification and the classifications of different things. These are classifications of servers here, and we have a bunch. We have now, these Macs are new. The Mac servers are brand new. They are not M1 Macs, but this was just announced at AWS reInvent this past year. AWS reInvent is a gigantic cloud conference. It was all online. It was 3 weeks this year online, but it allows people to get to know what Amazon's doing, for them to be able to teach you, and this is where they announce brand new things. Now, Mac is a brand new thing that is available to you. You can go and rent a Mac server directly from them, or rent Mac space. This was not a thing before, but you can rent these T-series of computers, of EC2 instances. And these are general purpose ones that you'll probably use a lot. And I actually have no idea what the T stands for. Some of them, you'll know what they stand for. I don't know what the T stands for at all. But these are, the T-series is a burstable, burstable CPU and RAM, I think. So what this allows it to do is, hey, if you are allocated one CPU essentially, and your workload says, hey, I'm using up all that one CPU and I need a little more. If there are other people who aren't using up theirs, it can burst past that amount and it can utilize more than you were given, which is really nice. But it's traditionally for shorter periods of time, but pretty cool. Just a trait of these things. But you can kind of read through which each of these things is. The general purposes are the T's and the M's. And I don't know what the A1 is. Amazon EC2 A1 instance, significant savings for scale out, ARM-based. So ARM-based workloads, interesting. And so these all have different features. So you can say, hey, why are there so many of them? These are not different sizes, okay? I want to be clear about that. So this is the classification. This is not the size. So T3 is different from T3A, and you have to read through here, and it tells you, it gives you what kind of CPU there is, it gives you all the information, and it tells you what's good about them. This is the instance type or classifications. The size is different. So they have sizes of nano, of small, of medium, large, extra large, 2XL. So they give you different amounts of CPU, different amounts of memory, different amounts of storage, okay? So this is kind of the part that gets confusing about the classification of servers, about what you get. You don't need to become a super pro about what each of these things is, but what you do need to know is kind of what falls into each of these categories. I'm going to provide you a resource that has some some ways for you to memorize this a little bit better of the different instance types. Many more instance types have been added since when I took my last exam. So I need to go through and I need to learn more of them as well. They add new ones all the time, like this Mac one. When I did it, there was the acronym for it was Dr. McGiftPicks, and that's what helped you remember all of the different types of instances they had, but that doesn't work anymore because they've switched it up. I'm sure it's a little bit different now. I will learn what it is now. But there are ones that are better for certain things. Let's say you have something, you have a workload that does need lots of number crunching. It needs not lots of CPU power. You can choose these CPU optimized instances. And these are C-class instances, okay? And they all have different attributes, so you can go through and see which one you need. Memory optimized ones. So these are the R series and the X series. And I guess the Z series, never heard of the Z series. That's new to me. But the R series and the X series. So if you have something that, yeah, I'm still gonna get some compute here, but really my workload relies on RAM. I need RAM optimized. I need the fastest RAM. I need the most RAM. This is where I can go for that. For memory optimized, accelerated computing. So this is hardware accelerators, coprocessors, a bunch of cool stuff. This is things like field programmable gate arrays, and also things like GPU based workloads, machine learning, things like that. You can grab from here. So this is the P series, the INF series, the G series, and the F series. Okay, a lot of different ones. Again, I'm going to give you something to go over with. It's useless for us to try to memorize where these things are right now. Just getting you introduced to them. Storage optimized. So sometimes storage is the thing that you need. Sometimes this type of server you need is you are going to be saving a lot of data to a system, and you need storage to be fast, or you need throughput optimization or something like that. And these are a couple of the different types of those. And again, you can see all of the features of these servers, so you can get good information from this page. And yeah, this is a little overview of it. And so you have different categories of performance, and so it's pretty important that you know that. So if you think you want to go down the road of an AWS certified solutions architect, these are the types of things that you're going to end up having to know, is having a good understanding of the differences between these different types of workloads, so that if someone comes to you and says, hey, we have this job that has a very specific type of processing capability, and when we run it, it usually has issues with the CPU, and you ask, hey, how much RAM is it using? Let's keep an eye on to see how much RAM it's using, and you can better optimize for cost. These things cost different amounts of money. Some of them are very expensive, very, very expensive. Some of them are very, very cheap, depending on what it is. So you have to be, you got to keep that in your mind, so that you can choose the solution that works best. And so these are instance types, different types of instances. Again, that's not to be confused with the size. You saw the size. There are in each of these classes, these different instance types, there are subcategories of sizes, which is nano, small, medium, large, extra large. So all of those things as well. All right. And so remember, we are diving deep tonight on a single service out of the almost 200 services that Amazon has to offer. And you can already see how, with all these classifications of things, why it can be so overwhelming to try to learn AWS, but not a big deal. All good. All right, so that is the instance types. So now that we know, oh no, hold on one second. Nope. I left my water downstairs. I'll grab it in a second. EC2 pricing models. So we know that we know EC2 is basically a server in the cloud. It is a virtualized instance that we can rent, and it's going to give us some compute capacity as well as some RAM and some storage. And we know that there are different types that offer us different types of performance depending on our needs, whether it be RAM intensive applications, CPU intensive applications. Maybe we need some graphics cards to process things, because graphics cards and graphics computing, that is compute power. So don't think CPU only. We know that we have those options, and there are different sizes for those: small, medium, large, nano, micro, a bunch of different sizes. We will look at this again. How are they priced? How does the pricing model work? And I will show you what the actual pricing model works. So the actual pricing model is done, it's done by time. It's done by how long this thing is up and running for. So you're charged by a period of time. And so we'll talk about what that time is, and we'll show you some examples. It can be pretty cheap. The cheapest server, that the free server, they have a free tier of it. If you should run over the free tier and you run out of free hours, when you do have to pay for it, which is micro server, I think it's still micro. Maybe they have nano now for you, but I don't think nano is free. It costs around, if you run it full time, if you run it for the entire month, it costs around $12, I think, is kind of the price. So that's kind of the cheapest entry point to their EC2 offerings. There are other offerings for this, but it's another service that we'll talk about later. But one of the first pricing models, so the first model is on demand. This is the most common thing that you're probably going to use. So on demand pricing is paying for what you use. Pricing is determined by your instance type, so what kind of instance it is, and charged by the hour or the second, okay? So this is one pricing model and probably the most common. So there are no minimums, there are no commitments, and this is common, but it is the most expensive of all of the options. It's probably weird to say, usually if something is going to be the most expensive of the options, that's not the one that people will go with all of the time. But I think once you hear the other two models, you'll understand why people choose this model. So on demand, I can grab it whenever I want. When we spin up a server tonight, it's going to be an on-demand server. It probably will be in my best interest to use one of these other models, but on demand is what you're going to use. It will be free for you, so don't sweat that at all. There are three of them. The next type of model is reserved instances, okay? And this is where you can save yourself some money. And again, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about in the beginning are really catered towards that solutions architect, but they're also just good cloud logic and knowing and knowledge anyway. But for all of you who want to be a solutions architect out here, these are important. We already talked about the most expensive pricing model, on demand. Pay for it when you want it, pay for what you need. Reserved is you can prepay, okay? And when you prepay, you get a little discount. So you can prepay to reserve compute capacity in EC2. Doing this gives you a pretty significant discount. And you can do it in 1 or 3 year increments, okay? Reserved instance types are really good because they save you. Usually when you, we'll fly it here. Usually when you prepay all up front for something, generally a discount is given. Why would Amazon want to give you a discount when you are still going to be using this processing power? The reason why you want to do that is because, Amazon at any given time doesn't know, Amazon can run out of space. They have a finite amount of space. It's unlikely that they will, but they can run out of allocations for processors and things. So if you can pay for that reserve space, if they know they can make money off of that, they will give it to you right up front. What's up, man? How you doing, Alta 4? Don't want to interrupt, but I sent you a DM when you get around to it. I greatly appreciate it. Absolutely. Let me pull it up so that I don't forget about it. Just so I can get it in my brain. All good on the interruptions. We're just chilling over here. Just so I can see it. And no, that is in my face. Okay, cool. I'm fake busy. I'm busy, but I'm fake busy. So definitely, that's why I'm gonna pull it up and I'm gonna leave it up here so that I can respond to it immediately when we're done here. Quick note, my hubs has an interview. Perfect. Thanks for everyone who helped sharing the other day. Oh, that's amazing. Definitely let us know how it goes. We are all here for the journey, okay? Definitely, that's pretty dope. But okay, so the reserved instance types, you pay up front, you get a discount. Pretty simple. 1, you pay on demand. Whenever I want it, I go get it. Reserved, say, hey, I commit to paying for this upfront for a year or 3 years. Go ahead and give that to me and you get it for a cheaper price. You might say, hey, 1 or 3 year commitment, that's a long time. Again, a lot of this is for enterprises and for companies and for people who know they're gonna be running their workloads on AWS. All right. The last one. This is the most complicated of them. But spot instances, all right? These are the hardest to work with, but you set a price. So it's like the stock market. You set a price that you would like to pay for compute capacity. When the price drops below the threshold, you are allotted that capacity. You are given that capacity. You say, hey, I would like as much as I can get for, give me up to 10 servers when the price is below this much an hour. And when it does fall below that, it will allocate those to you, and you can have it automatically spin up to process workloads and stuff. And it's great. There's no commitment to it at all. You save a bunch of money doing it this way as well, because you're setting your own price, but capacity is not guaranteed. So once the price goes back above what you're willing to pay, they will take those back from you. You will not have access to those things. And you might be saying in your mind, what in the world would I want to use that for? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so if you have, there are a lot of companies out there who are processing data, who are processing big things, doing certain jobs, doing special workloads where, hey, at any given time, like, yeah, we may have some systems that are dedicated to this, but at any given time, if servers are cheap enough, we'll have it automatically give us some more, and we'll use those extra servers to keep chugging out things. And as the price goes down, goes back up, then we will lose them. No big deal. It's a really good way to do that and to save yourself some money. You might be saying, hey, how does I thought everything just costs a price. Like, how does the price go up and down? Remember, so people are utilizing AWS servers at any given time. It's kind of like Uber or Lyft. You know how you get those surge pricing when it's super busy and things like that. During super busy times, this compute real estate is worth more. It's worth more during these times, and so the price of them will go up. But that will not be that does not happen. Let me be very clear. That does not happen inside of on-demand pricing, okay, or reserve pricing for that matter. It only happens inside of the spot instance. So you're bidding against other people for this space, and this is a good part. This is good on Amazon's part. Get as much money as they want. They've already paid for these servers, okay? They have these servers running. It's in their best interest to get as much money as possible for these things, and so the price will fluctuate throughout the day, and you will be allotted capacity when you're ready for it. And once it goes above that, you are no longer getting that. Would it be logical to set up these as a VPN, seeing as you can't trust a VPN server these days? Yeah, 100%. You can set up a VPN server. That's a really good idea. I've been compiling ideas on what to do during the Saturday build series, and that is a really good one. I think setting up a VPN server, I'm going to add it to the list of things. That would be pretty dope. I think a lot of people have never set up a VPN server before. Might be pretty cool to do, but 100% setting up this is what you would use to set up a VPN server. Let's see, data processing calculations. Yep, supply and demand. That's it. Like folding at home, razor soup, perfect. If anyone's not familiar with folding at home, that's pretty dope. Folding at home is a pretty cool project that allows you to basically install a client on your machine and for your computer to be utilized by data scientists and scientists who are working on different models and stuff. There's a lot of science, protein modeling and stuff that takes a lot of compute power, and it distributes the workload over everyone's computer who's willing to give up space for it, because these calculations are expensive. And it's pretty cool if you have a computer that's powerful, even if not, that sits idle. One day I'll share the link to it. It's a really good thing to do. Again, science, all right? We all love science. Go ahead and do some folding at home. It is pretty dope. It is like that. Go React JS, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you. Thank you so much for gifting the subs. Again, this is the war on ads. I appreciate it. Now you all actually also make sure you all are using these emotes. So now you all have access to these emotes. And we did Twitch gives you a year-end wrap up, and Leon Codes, or no, Learn with Leon, his emote was used in my chat more than any of mine were, and it hurt my feelings just a little bit because he rated me once. He rated me once and hit more emote usage than us. And we gotta make sure we do it. Yeah, Rusty, folding at home is in fact still a thing for sure. It's still a thing. I still do it. I have two pretty powerful computers. One of my computers sits in the office, or this one now is no longer in the office, but it will be in the office. And while it's there, I let it fold the whole time. I just let it fold. So hopefully I'm pretty sure I'm pushing a lot of data through there, but yeah. Also, Mio Same, welcome. Mio Same, Mio Same. Thank you for the follow. Good to have you. All right. So those are 3 instance types, okay? Okay, this is the 4th. There are really 4. But these are the 3 that you're going to care about the most right up front. So on demand. All right, remember, that's you pay for what you get. When you're ready for it, that's when I go get it. It's going to cost you the most amount of money. Reserved instances. And so there's no commitment for on demand. There's no commitment for spot. There is a commitment on reserved, okay? The word reserved sounds like a commitment to me, so that usually helps, but no commitment here. Reserved, you get a discount for reserving things for either 1 to 3 years. Spot instances, no commitment. You bid on the price that you want to pay, and when the price falls below, they'll give it to you, and then they'll take it away when the price goes back up. So you set that threshold, okay? And you might be saying, "Oh, that's super weird. How do you know you get the server? Are you gonna have time to do anything on it?" This is not for, again, not for things that should be long lived. There's a lot of automation that can be done with the cloud, and we'll learn that over this. It's not really a problem. And the last pricing model, which honestly, I've been in a lot of places. A lot of people, I haven't seen anyone leverage this often, to be honest, but this would be something that would happen, especially, I think it happens a lot in the government space. I mean, I'm sure people use it. I'm definitely sure lots and lots of people use it, but dedicated hosts. All right, so you get an entire physical EC2 server, the whole server, everything, dedicated just to you. There are no other tenants or dedicated hosts. So all the other ones, remember, we said EC2 was virtualized, okay? So that means there are other people, you are sharing a system. So you are sectioned off, you are walled off, you are sharing virtualized pieces of it, and you are isolated, okay? You are isolated, but there are other people that are utilizing the CPU. Remember, we said there are certain instance types that are burstable, that can go over their limit. And so it's possible that these things could affect you. During super high traffic, if your computer needs to burst or something and you're getting worse performance than you're expecting, but it might be because there are other high performing things on the system, and that may be problematic to you. Maybe there's some data reasons why you need a dedicated host, but it's dedicated just to you. You get all the power, and this is a very expensive option. Yeah, it's pretty expensive option. So it is something that you can do though, if you want to do it. But it's hard to have a dedicated host in dynamically driven environment. I agree. It seems like a really weird thing to happen, but it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. So those are pretty important. On demand, you'll use the most common. Reserved, save some money. Reserved for an amount of time. Obviously, you'll save more money if you go for 3 years than 1 year. Spot instances, you set you play in the markets here, and dedicated hosts, you get your own hosts. All right, pretty simple. We're making good time here. So now that you know what an EC2 instance is, you're now aware that there are a bunch of different types and stuff, and you still got to go back and you got to learn what types and things there are. And now that you know there are different models for how you might pay for these things, let's talk about storage. So it's a server, it's a computer, but let's talk storage now because it works a little bit differently than you might expect. What do people think of the new supported languages with CDK for Terraform? First off, I didn't know there were new supported languages. CDK for Terraform. I need to check that out. That sounds very interesting. Very, very interesting. So what's interesting about that is that. So if anyone, a lot of you are probably like, what the heck is Terraform? What the heck is CDK? We're going to be doing a whole project with CDK. We're not going to be doing a project with Terraform because this is specifically around AWS. We will do one with CDK. If you're interested in learning about Terraform, there's a whole week we are doing this in the pipelines course. I think it's in like 3 or 4 weeks that we will be doing that. So you can kind of hop in for that. That's interesting. I gotta look at that really quick. Java and C#. CDK for Terraform now supports. All right. This is CDK for Terraform. That helps for one. The problem when I read that is we're talking about AWS, so I was thinking, AWS CDK. So I've never messed with HashiCorp CDK for Terraform, or unless they're talking about. Hold on, CDK. Hold on. All right, I gotta dive into this later. Oh no, it is Amazon CDK. Okay, wow. Supports Java and C#. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything in Java, to be honest with you, or C#, but that's pretty cool. That's really cool. I like it. What's up, Benja Jovial? How are you doing? Thank you so much for the sub. You missed so much? Nah, you haven't missed that much. Just only a little bit. We're getting there. All right. We're talking about storage now. Let's talk about instant stores. This is the first type of storage. So remember I said these words will come up again. This is another resource. So storage is another resource that you'll receive. Hard drive space is which you will receive. Instance stores. This is ephemeral block storage that backs EC2. That whole statement right there might mean absolutely nothing to you, and that's okay. All right, those are not the slides. Let me give you the slides real quick. Let me add that to the slides command because there are a lot of slides. Let's grab it again. Anyone with the link, copy link. Here are the slides. Let me edit that command. Commands, edit, exclamation point slides. There we go. Now people can get the slides. All right, ephemeral. What does ephemeral mean? Ephemeral means not around for long, okay? Ephemeral means it won't stick around. It is not permanent, all right? So it goes away. Ephemeral block storage. We will talk about block storage, the difference between block storage and object storage in a little bit, but it backs EC2. So it is the thing backing this EC2 service. Remember, it gets a little bit weird to think about, but this is the elastic compute cloud. The focus is on compute. RAM comes with that because you need RAM to work with your whatever it is that you're processing. RAM is really important, but the focus here is compute, and so this is the storage that backs it. If you should delete the instance, you will delete the data. All right. It will stay around. It's only it's ephemeral, and that it only stays around as long as the instance stays around. Instance store. When would you use? Well, let's hear about the other storage first, and then we'll talk about when to use each one of these things. But instance store, that's the regular storage that backs EC2. And again, it's ephemeral, and if you delete the data, then if you delete the instance, then the data is gone, completely gone away. All right, and here's the big papa of storage for EC2 specifically. Really cool tool. It really should be. It's really like its own service, but this is a service that backs EC2. This is called EBS. All right, Elastic Block Storage. And a lot of times, I actually think they have given this a space in the console. We'll check out the console in a little bit to see. But Elastic Block Storage. This is the non-ephemeral, okay, block storage. This is the permanent block storage that backs EC2. So one goes away when the instance is deleted. That should tell you in your mind already that this does not go away when the instance is deleted, or might not go away when the instance is deleted. You can mount multiple elastic block store volumes to an EC2 instance in the same AZ. This is where we're building upon the concepts that we know. Let's review it, because I would have forgotten it if I were you. AZ, what does AZ stand for? Remember, AZ is an availability zone. What's availability zones? Those are those clusters of data centers inside of a geographic region. So inside of US East 1, all right, US East 1 is in Northern Virginia. So over in Northern Virginia, there's a couple different data centers. There's some redundant data centers. And each of those, let's just say for now, each of those is an availability zone. And they are kind of replicated redundant data centers of each other to make sure, you can always have your data and your stuff be available. So as long as your EC2 instance is in the same availability zone, as long as it's in the same place, you can mount multiple of these volumes to a system. So not just one, think about them. You can even think about them for now. You can think about them like a thumb drive. I can take a bunch of thumb drives. As long as they're in the same place, I can plug a bunch of thumb drives into them. That's essentially what this is saying right now. But they're SSDs. They are storage devices. They're solid state by default, but they can be magnetic drives as well. You pay. Sorry, the world is crazy. There's all these articles and stuff about OnlyFans right now, and so when I saw the word only and the word pay, my mind was like, how did OnlyFans get here? I don't know why my mind went there. Just being honest with you and letting you know where. I don't know why my mind. That's weird. Okay, so pay only for what you use. Okay, so you're only going to pay for what you store. All right. So that's pretty important. So you use it, and you pay only for what you only pay for what block storage you take up. Pretty important, or that you provision. I'll talk about the magic of the other piece in a second, but it is excellent. It has excellent backup functionality via something called snapshots. And these snapshots are what make, honestly, EBS to me is what makes EC2 so amazing. That's the only thing that makes it amazing to me, honestly. but it's really, really good. Yeah, for sure. You know, we'll get that OnlyFans link up. It'll be the most scintillating me in scantily clad clothing next to my computers and maybe playing some Overwatch poorly. You know, give the people what they want. I get it. I'm a people pleaser. Now, I'm not sure that Mrs. Mastermind would be okay with this. And I'm hoping that, you know, my future child, they have to endure the embarrassment of their father being out here on the internet. But hey, if we're getting paid, you know, you can put up a lot if you're making money. I'm not gonna lie. I found out how much some of these people are making. And I'm like, hey, you know, whoever's trying to see people who aren't that old with dad bods, you know, naked online, your boys for it, okay? Get it how you get it. Get it how you get it. That's all I'm saying, you know? Get it how you get it. Again, my wife probably she don't want that. But whatever, you know? Huh? She said no. She yelled at me and said no. She scared me by telling me I can't do that. Money's overrated, but fame's not, all right? It's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the appreciation of the human form, okay? She yelled at me. It scared me. All right. I'm gonna keep going. She watches it sometimes. She watches it sometimes. She's listening in, and she didn't like that at all. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If I show her the first check, she probably won't care, right? Right. She didn't respond, so right. But yeah, I don't know why. The word only right there. I guess it's because the O is capitalized. You never see the word only capitalized, and I don't even know why I capitalized it. That's why it's not supposed to be capitalized. No one told me that. You all should have told me. That's poor grammar, poor English. You know, we gotta make that lowercase so I don't make this mistake again. All right. Okay, so just like EC2 instance volume types, there are EBS volume types as well. And so I have a link here, and I want to share it with you so that you can see it here. Dropping hints with your typo, you know. Hey, look, this is my way of testing the waters. That's all. I'm just testing the waters. I purposely put it in there, testing the waters just to see. All right. So these are the EBS volume types. Sometimes you just don't expect the stream to take this kind of turn. But yeah, we have a couple different types. New types being added pretty often. But again, multiple solutions to fit your needs. And remember, we said AWS or the cloud period is like Legos. You're grabbing services, you're grabbing the Legos you need to build what you want. You're stacking them together to build what you need. And so we have different types of EBS volumes. Solid state drives, this is actually the general IO right now. This is, you get SSDs by default. SSDs, solid state drives, these are, instead of, if you weren't familiar with old school hard drives, they're not even, I mean, they still exist for sure, still heavily used for higher storage capacities, but they are spinning, they're mechanical spinning metal magnetic metal platters, basically, kind of like a record player, and it saves data to this disk. And so they are slow because they're slower because they are dependent upon the speed in which this disk is able to, these platters are able to spin. And they're not that fast. Solid state storage works more like RAM does. One of the reasons why RAM is so fast is it's volatile because it's all electrical data being passed through, and it can be, you know, it's flash storage. SSDs are flash storage. All right, very similar to your thumb drive, okay? And it allows for data to be transferred much more quickly, and this is the way to go. So SSDs allow for much more speed, a lot more throughput, and so this is what you get by default. So you do get solid state drives, all right? Also, whenever you see this IO, we're gonna talk much more about IO and throughput and understanding what that means, but IO stands for input, output. So think about data going in and data coming out, So yeah, let's see. Absolutely. R drive, what's the difference? Oh, that's a good one. Oh yeah, you might have to get that. It's gonna be hard to share that. Maybe yeah, it is good to know. It is super helpful to know the difference between a hard drive and SSD. Also, just for your own, to be clear, it's for your own computing knowledge for when you are purchasing a computer. I can't tell you how the difference between them is massive. And for personal computing, this has been the single biggest increase in performance that you'll see is if you still have a computer with a traditional spinning hard drive and you move to an SSD, forget the faster processor, forget the more RAM. That is what you want to make happen. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who are like, oh, Aaron's a computer guy, go make a recommendation on a computer, and then I either don't get back to them fast enough, or I get back to them and they go buy a computer, whatever computer they want, because they want to buy a cheap one, and they bought one that has good specs. It's got a lot of RAM, it's got a lot of hard drive space because it's a traditional hard drive, but it's an old school traditional hard drive, and it really does affect the speed in which your computer operates at. It is massive, and I hate spending money on it, but I spent way too much on the drives that are in my computer right now because it makes a significant difference. So it's just something to know about. Definitely click on that link whenever we get the link fixed. Oh, there we go. You found it. Oh yeah, perfect. You found it. It's pretty dope, and you should learn about the difference because it's pretty cool. And then now there's different kinds of SSDs as well. There's your traditional 2.5-inch SSDs. They're great. They also have NVMe SSDs and all the M.2 SSDs. There's a lot of stuff in there, different form factors, different speeds, all kinds of stuff. But pretty crazy world to go down. Got to buy a whole SSD just to play Warzone. Absolutely, Alex. Man. Next week, Alex, once this week is over, I'm back on with y'all for at least one night a week. I'm back on with y'all. Just this week crushed me. It killed me. But yeah, so SSDs. You do still have access to hard drives. Why do you still have access to hard drives if SSDs are so cool? Because hard drives have been around for a long time. They are still very useful. It's cheaper for more capacity. You can get much more capacity in a hard drive for cheaper. So I do have hard drives on my computer as well, and it's for longer term, like archival data and keeping things, just on there. And you can get huge hard drives for the size of for something that is the fourth of its size for the same price in SSD. So it's those are still there if you need lots of storage and the throughput doesn't matter so much, or the speed in which things are saved and read from doesn't matter quite as much. Hard drives are there for you when you need massive amounts of data. Previous generation hard drives, this can be used for workloads and small data sets. So there are a couple other kinds, and there are also some different classifications of these. Again, even like I said, inside of the solid state drives, there's GP3, GP2, IO blocks. So there are hard drives that are faster than others. There are SSDs that are faster than others, and so you can pay more for these optimized for throughput, optimized for size. Optimized for write capacity or for read. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There are size limits for each of them, and so it's pretty dope. But again, this is just the permanent storage that backs EC2. If you should delete the instance, this data it can be deleted if you want it to be deleted, but it won't be deleted. This data can stick around even after the instance is deleted, and that is pretty important. That's pretty important. All right. Buy four 2 terabyte Samsung X5 SSDs, then talk to me. It hurt me so bad, but they're worth it. Hold on. I'm becoming a hardware person. So now I got to look up Samsung. Let's see. X5. What are these? Oh, these are external. Oh. I will. Well, okay, Sully. One. You flexed on all of us just now. you flexed on us because I will have to live. If I buy 5 of these, I will be living in my truck for sure. I have got to move out of the house and I have to live into the truck, but that'll be fine because all my data will be backed up and it'll be done quickly. Man, whoo. Well, yes, I won't do that. I will not buy 4 of them because that's pretty wild, to be honest. But I get it though. I am now I'm an understander of people who spend money. You should spend money on storage, but I can't do that. If you got an X99 chipset, you can toss that ASUS. Oh, for slice in the mind. First off, you're speaking my language now. Not X2, so X299, yes, we'll give you the full because you have got that PCIe lane okay, I don't know the word. Bifurcation, okay, whatever. It starts with a B, and it means you can split up your PCI. You can split up your PCI lanes into smaller lanes. So you can take your 16 and make it 4 times 4 lanes. Yeah, bifurcation. I tried it, did my best. But I was looking into a Threadripper build for so long, purely for that card, purely to get that expansion card slot, is rather than making, rather than doing something like a, what are those things called? Rather than doing a, my mind just broke. Whatever. Rather than have an external expensive storage solution, I was going to go with that expansion card to have 4 internal. You've got all those PCI lanes with the either X299 or the Threadripper set. You got so many PCI lanes. I thought about it, but you know, guys, right now I would do all that, and then Comcast would come along and give me half a meg upload, and none of it would matter. So you know, we don't need to do all that. But yeah. So something AWS is going to ban me for how many times I provision and destroy EC2s. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's completely fair. NAS, that's the word I was looking for. I don't know why. 748 terabyte NAS. I'll run my last business. Yeah, I mean, I have a little NAS here, but NAS, man, the cost of NAS is like getting them together. If you don't want to manually do everything with free NAS and stuff, is pretty expensive. I just get up to 45 PCI lanes. I don't need to split. Yeah, I mean, yeah, extra 99 is perfect. Yeah, I think the TRX 40 chipset has like 64 or something like that, because I think you can get up to 128 if you go for the Pro, but the new Pro ones. But yeah, pretty crazy. I learned a lot about PCI lanes because I have 3 capture cards in here, and if my motherboard wasn't a PCI 4.0 motherboard, I wouldn't have enough lanes to do what I'm doing now. But yeah, 10,000 channel points. I love it. I need to give you all some more reasons to use them. All right, let's keep going. So that was kind of everything. So let's before we go for the review, let's talk about EBS and why it's so amazing. EBS, it backs EC2, so you know it's the underlying thing underneath it. But what it does, what's so cool about it is it can be detached. All right, it can be detached from an EC2 instance. So if I go and grab, let's say I go and grab a T2 medium server. So maybe I have 2 CPUs and 8 gigs of RAM. I have no idea if that's how much a T2 medium has. Just going, you know, just stick with me. And I grab that, and with that, I say, hey, I also want 30 gigabytes of instance storage. I will get that. Okay. Now remember, instance storage. When I shut down my instance, when I remove it, that instance storage is tied to that, and it goes away. It is gone. It is ephemeral. I'm never getting it back. All right. EBS, on the other hand, is a special service that is attaching these things over the network. Basically, it looks like it's all one big piece, but it's attaching this file really over the network. But all good. It all appears to be great and really nice. If I should shut down or remove this instance, I can keep this EBS volume. All right, so maybe I had a bunch of stuff saved to it. I can keep this volume, and at any other time, I can spin up another EC2 instance. Maybe I want a bigger instance, whatever, and I can attach this EBS volume to it at any given time. Now, it can only be attached to one instance at a time. I want to be very clear about that. An EBS volume can only be attached to one instance at a time, but an EC2 instance can have multiple EBS volumes attached, okay? So you can have a lot of them attached to one, but you can only attach one EBS volume. You can only attach an EBS volume to one EC2 instance. It can only be attached to one at a time, okay? So that's pretty important. And again, one of the big benefits is excellent backup functionality with something called snapshots. What's amazing about snapshots, okay? Snapshots are point-in-time versions of your data. What's really nice about snapshots in AWS, this is that little extra for you, and they might ask you this on the exam. What's really nice about it is you pay your snapshots, you pay for the data that you pay for. So let's say you have a 30 gig EBS volume, okay? You're gonna pay for that while you have it. If you only save 15 gigabytes of things to it, your backup, you pay for 15 gigabytes of storage space, okay? Your snapshot. If you should, let's say, after your first snapshot, you got 15 gigabytes of stuff, you add another half of gig of things to your system. So now you got 15 and a half gigs. When you take another snapshot, you might be thinking, oh, dang, like I have another snapshot, another point in time. I'm paying for 15 gigs plus another 15 and a half gigs. No, they only make you pay for the delta. So you have 15 gigs, and you have a whole another snapshot here, but you're only paying for an additional half a gig, which is really, really nice. It is super duper helpful. Yeah, it is super duper helpful for when you're doing things. Those snapshots functionality make it super easy to roll back to times that where things are working, make sure things are good. But it's a really nice way of making sure you have good backups of what you're doing. So snapshots are pretty dope and cool. So review: EC2 instances are secure, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. You have a couple of instance types, which is that T2, those letters, the P, whatever, the G's or the INF or whatever, is the example of the class. And then the size is something like small, medium, large, nano is the size. And that's going to give you a different amount of a certain resource. And then the main pricing models were on demand, which was you pay for what you get it when you want it. It's the most expensive, but also the most common. Reserved, you pay up front for, you commit to a year or 3 years, you pay up front, you get a big discount for that. There's also there's also a couple of different payment models inside of the reserved instance. You can pay all up front. You can also pay like half up front, and then you can pay like monthly after that. It's pretty interesting. They have a couple of different ways you can spread it out, which will save you more or less. Spot instances, like play the stock market play. Hey, I when the price is below this, I would like you to give me this much capacity. So you bid on space, and when it's below that, they'll give you that space, and when it's not, they'll take it back from you and give it to someone else. And then dedicated hosts, completely dedicated systems for you. No one, single tenancy systems. So that's that. My Threadripper only has double the PCI 4 lanes compared to yours. You say you have the 9 server i9. Yeah, I have the I'm running. Oh, that's why I said the mine. Man, Threadripper has, yeah, I'll say that Threadripper has, yeah, double the PCI lanes. Yes, correct. It is double. The Threadripper is pretty wild. Those Threadripper Pros that just came out, look, I have no need for it. Again, I'm becoming a hardware guy. I don't know why I like hardware so much now. But those new Threadripper Pros, you can get that full 128 PCIe lanes. I don't know what I would ever need that for. Absolutely nothing. I could never utilize it. But just I would feel like Thanos out here. I just have it all. I feel like I could really wipe out half of the earth with that much stuff. I don't know what I would do. Does a snapshot just track the delta from your running server, or is a full copy then the delta start? So a full copy and then the delta start. So the original snapshot that everything's based off of is it's a full copy, and then all of the deltas do begin. Then they do a bunch of magic underneath if you should delete that first copy. Like it's really impressive. So yeah, it is a full copy first, and then the delta start. Let's see. Yeah, you need to flex for no reason. 128 PCI lanes. I don't know, man. I would have to. I don't know what I would do with it, but I want to try. Since the M1 is already an Intel killer, I'm impressed. I can't wait to see the benchmark of the M1X. I agree. I'm very excited about the M1X. Very excited about the M1X. I'm. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm waiting to see how Windows responds, because their ARM implementation is so trash. It's so bad. But I just want to see. I'm interested to see. I'm also interested to see where this takes us. Having a computer that can easily last me 15 to 18 hours, I'm with that. That is love right there. That is, I can go to the park all day. I can just go to download some movies, go to the park, relax, just lay on the side, feet to the side, bring my food, lay on a blanket, watch movies, take a nap. Hopefully my laptop doesn't get stolen, but then wake up, watch a new movie, it'd be nice. I would love to have that flexibility. How true is it on Spot you only get 2-minute warning before instances drop? That's a great question. I think it's about that. I haven't used Spot instances in a long time, but the warning is pretty short. It is a pretty short amount of time, but again, that's why you gotta be cognizant of what your workload is. That sounds about right. 2 minutes sounds about right. But we can check. We can look that up in a second just to confirm. Make sure I'm not giving you bad information. We also talked about EBS volumes. We didn't talk about security groups yet. All that stuff is here. Okay, this second part of this review should be below this. So cool. We'll skip over on that. And hold on a second. All right, there we go. Sorry. Um, yeah, so let's go over all the rest of the stuff. So one, before we even go into the rest of the stuff, let's hop in. Let's hop into the console, and let's at least start to look at this. So, you know, all this text is boring, if I do say so myself. And my auth code, because you know, two-factor authentication is the only way to go. And by only way, I mean one of the couple ways you can go, but you know, the only way. Which one is it? It's this one. Make sure I'm only showing you one. Let's get logged in here. And remember, the console is just a bunch of services, and take a look. And so we're in. Very, very exciting. So amazing. The best console experience ever. The brand new. Welcome to the new EC2 console. Get ready. Get set for the cloud. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. No, it's okay. I was trying to make it exciting, but the console's kind of boring. And this is what we got. This is looks really good. Looks really nice. Tells you some good information. Lots of words, not a lot of images, not a lot of pictures to get you hype, to give you some good indications of what's going on. But this is what it is. Exciting. Very, very exciting. Just kind of wanted you to, see what's going on. Look around, see some of the words. We see, hey, I heard the word instance tonight. Instances, these are, what are instances? And I can see what instances I have running or not running, which was really great. I can see the instance types that are available. All right, so look, check this out. All those instance types, if you want to look through and see what they are and see what's available, you can go through and see that. That's pretty nice. It also gives you pricing. So look at this, let's see, a T2 micro will cost you $0.0116 US dollars per hour. All right, that's nice. Every hour, that's pretty good. Pretty cheap. A penny an hour, a little over a penny an hour. That's pretty nice. It makes you feel good. And they can go pretty expensive. They got servers that are, look at this, $3 an hour. On demand window, $8 an hour. Oh man, you got to be caked up for that. For the C5A 24XL with 96 vCPU cores, 192. Oh man, that's pretty. It's pretty beefy. $8 an hour for that. If you want to do it, all good, all good. So you can see a bunch of stuff in here. You can see this. Check this out. Spot requests. Remember, request. You got to make that bid. So it's a request. It's not a. It's not. You don't just get it. So you got to make a request for it. So spot request is in here. Then we got some stuff for savings plans to help you save some money if you want. Obviously, you're never going to. Well, let's take a step back. Your goal throughout this whole course is not to become a pro at all these things in here. That is not at all. You can't do it. There's too much stuff. Like I'm telling you right now, I've been using AWS for years professionally, and I've never seen the savings plan tab in my life. I've never seen this in my entire life. I have no idea what I'm showing you right now. I clicked on it because it was there, and it's the thing. So do not be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that is in here. It's great that it's there, but you need to understand what problem the service solves, so that when you come across things, to go in there. Then when you're using a service, then you can get to know all these things really well if you want. But yeah. Dedicated hosts. Apparently this is, a new tab here. But just, looking around, a bunch of stuff. Elastic Block Store. See, there's a bunch of stuff here for your Elastic Block volumes, and you can add more. Thank you. You can add more volumes, so you can create volumes without having to spin up an EC2 instance. It doesn't need to be, are you okay? It doesn't need to be attached to one by default. And so it's pretty cool. Remember, because you can attach multiple ones to a system. Really, really nice. But there's a bunch of other stuff in here. Just as we're going through, look around it, see if you're like, oh, click around, look around, think about the things that you've learned already. We're about to learn much more, but just get a little familiar with it. All right. $83080s. Yeah. Whew. I mean, honestly though, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Let me look up what it would cost. I told you I'm gonna run a power cable next door. I've got two 3090s. I can mine me some Bitcoin and it costs me no power. Now, you know, you might say that's mean. You might say that's mean, but you know, everyone, the person, the woman next door is the kindest. She's sweet. You know, I think she'll be okay with it. Now maybe I'll share with her. I'll share with her once it. She didn't have to purchase 3090, so she's not out on the 3090 money, and so it's only upside. It's only upside for all of us, you know. And maybe we can mine ourselves some Bitcoin and catch the wave, because your boy. So let me tell you all, I had some Bitcoin back in the day. Back in the day, I had I had some stuff. I had a little, my pieces of Bitcoin, and I made a little money on it. Wasn't very much, but it was, it was a lot to me at the time. You know, I was like, I think I made like $500 or $600, and I was like, I just made more money than anyone's ever made on a transaction ever. That's how I felt at the time. I was like, Bitcoin, only like not many people were into it, and like it had grown a little bit, and I sold because I was scared, and I was like, hey, I might as well be who's someone who makes really good financial deals. That person, whoever that person is, that's me. That was me at the time. That's how I felt. But look at me now. Who would have thunk? Just man, I'm hurt every time I think about it. It hurts, to be honest. I could have been caked up right now with Bitcoin, but missed the wave. All good. Okay, nice little change of topic before we get back into many more EC2 topics. All right, what does it mean to mine Bitcoin? Bitcoin, this is one day we should do a Saturday session about blockchain and how kind of some of this works, but transactions and Bitcoin needs to be, there's a lot of calculations that need to be done to both certify transactions and to unearth and discover Bitcoin. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible right now, and it needs computing power to do that. There's a limited number of Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't exceed a certain amount. I forgot what the top number what the top number of it is, but you need computers to perform these computations to unearth these and earn these bits of Bitcoin. So yeah, it costs 21 mil. There we go. That's the number. We should go into that one day. It's very interesting. I'm not one of those people who's like, the blockchain is the future, and that's not me at all. But I do think it's a very interesting concept, for sure. Very interesting. Okay, now we're gonna get into some of the terminology and some of the things that important topics about it. So there's a server, different sizes, there's storage now. Let's talk about the other things. An AMI, very, very important here. Someone was talking about how they were doing some cool stuff with Packer inside of the Discord the other day. So this is related to that, but AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image, okay? And you see my man over here holding this CD, this disc. What is an AMI? It is a read-only, okay? Can't write to it, can't execute it. It's a read-only file system image that includes an operating system, it's like Linux or Windows or now Mac, excellent, and any additional software that's required to deliver a service or a portion of it. So, for right now, you can think about this thing as the operating system and what's on it. So this Amazon Machine Image is going to be the base operating system for your EC2 instance. So if I say, hey, I have compute and I have a file system, what's running on it? So you're going to need an operating system running on it. So you can deploy a Windows AMI. You can deploy an Ubuntu AMI. Different distributions of Linux. Amazon has their own distribution of Linux called Amazon Linux. Very basic name, but better than their other naming conventions. And so this is the base image for what's on there. And so what's nice about them is you can make your own images, okay? So essentially a VM that has an OS on it already. It's so when you are trying to install a VM and you use that ISO file, it's more like that ISO file that you're using to well, I guess not even really, but yeah, it's kind of like that ISO file you're using to install the VM. It's kind of that base image that everything gets built up on. So yeah, does it take any ISO? So no, it doesn't take an ISO. It doesn't quite work that way, but yeah, it takes, yes, it takes, you can do Linux. I actually don't know if you can use Unix. I don't know if you can use Unix. I know it takes Linux, Windows, No idea if it uses Unix. I don't know if you can have Unix servers. That's a good question. I don't know if it takes anything, anything at all. But any distributions, whatever of Linux, yes, you can build your own. Really easy to build your own. If you don't want to build your own, pre-build your own, you can also build one. You can also build one from a running instance. So you can spin up an Ubuntu server, a fresh Ubuntu server, and say, hey, I would like to have a web server set up on here with all of this specific configuration, all this other stuff, and I can take that and all that's saved upon on EBS. All right, I can use that EBS volume to create an AMI, to create an Amazon machine image based on those things that are already on there. So I can have all of my configuration and everything already set on there, and that'd be the underlying image that I was using. It's more so akin to like a VDI from a VirtualBox or something. I think that's what it's most akin to, something like that. But it's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. And I think we're doing something where we'll build one. I think we're doing a Packer Day. If not, we definitely will build one in part 2 of this course for sure. Can you deploy an AMI onto a local machine? That is a great question. Yes, not easily. It's not easily because the AMI format is Amazon specific. There are ways to do that. You can also convert your local. There are ways to convert your local machine, virtual machines to AMIs for Amazon. You can also do that as well. It is not easy to deploy an AMI locally, but it is possible. All right, resource tagging. I think we talked about this before, but you can add metadata to your instance called tags. So this metadata is just little bits of data that describe this other data and these resources. Remember, everything in Amazon is a resource. So when we say resource tagging, we're talking about anything you create in Amazon is a resource. So we can add little tags to this resource to make management of it easier. So again, I can create an EC2 instance and provide it information like, hey, this is the environment of this thing. These are key value items. I can say the environment of this thing, this is my development environment server. So I have environment development, and maybe I have a bunch of development environment servers. And when I'm searching through things, I can filter by those tags and, hey, show me all the development servers, and I've tagged it with that data. So it can be pretty helpful. Even the name of the server is metadata, is one of these resource tags. All right. Whoa. Go back over. Let me go back up. Ryan Hare, thank you so much for the follow. Daniel Seizure, I missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for that. It was a while ago. I meant to hop back over here. Uzi Death, welcome. It's good to have you. Servo, Severo, I fixed it. Welcome as well. Sorry I didn't give you all your props when you first came in. All right. The next big thing, security groups. All right. Really, really important piece here. Ports, for the most part. Ports. So in TCP IP and UDP network. So these are protocols that allow for information and data transmission. A port is an endpoint to a logical connection, and the way that a client program specifies a server port, a specific server program on a computer network. So look, for right now, ports, these are just lanes of communication for your system. They run on different numbers. So there's different services run on different lanes of communication. Okay, so SSH, this is the port for you to be able to log in remotely to a Linux system. So that runs over port 22 usually by default. And the internet, web servers traditionally run over port 80 and over port 443. All right, so these are lanes of communication. Okay, it's a gate. It's a gate for communication. Security groups are what allow you to control access to these ports. Yes, you could use a firewall on the server. You may, if you're familiar with Linux, you may say, hey, what about a firewall on the system? Yes, these still work. But this is a layer. This is a cloud layer firewall that will help you with that as well, that controls access to this stuff. So by default, everything will be locked down. By default, there's no access by default. You have to create holes in the security group. You have to add lanes in the security group for data to get through to these ports, okay? So yeah, ports equals gates. I like that. I really do like it. I know a little bit about networking, Mr. Sir. Duke Nukem. I know. So you know a little about networking, and I know little about networking. So I like that a lot. But yeah, what's it? Quad zero everything. Or what's after quad? Single, double, triple, quad, penta zero everything. I like it. Ports are doorways to money. Yeah, I mean, yes, you are not wrong. ACLs, access control list, absolutely. First of all, Dorothy, dope. That is amazing. We're all proud of you for getting to the point that you're ready to take it. You've taken more of a step than a lot of us. You signed up for it. I hope you studied for it. It's okay to be nervous. That just means you're gonna do great. That's your body just ready to let out all the information that it has stored. You're gonna do great, guaranteed. Even if you don't do great, just going to take it is great. You'll get a lot of feedback. You'll understand better how to take it next time. But you're gonna pass. Doesn't matter. You're gonna do great tomorrow. Let us know how you did. We're all gonna be here, ready to cheer you on and to congratulate you on your amazing accomplishment. Pretty dope. I honestly, I have been thinking about adding that to my list of things to do this year because networking is one of my weaker things. It would be helpful, I don't need a Network Plus, but it might be pretty helpful to study for it at the very least. That's true. Most everything, yeah, 100% that you plug in automatically does it. All right. So we'll talk about security groups as well. Pretty simple. It's a pretty simple concept. You basically just say, hey, I would like this port to be open to these people. And these people, you can break it down by IP addresses. And so it's pretty helpful when you're doing that. Taking during office hours. If I finish before the end of the stream, I'll let you know. A lot of stuff was relevant. Dope. I was at AWS. Dope. That's awesome. I'm really excited I'm really excited to just hear about your experience of it. For sure. I always tell people, I don't know how many other certifications you sat for and stuff, but I'm a pretty good test taker. And so in my life, I'm used to passing tests, and I tricked myself by being successful at the first couple of technical certifications I sat for. I studied, but not as much. I wasn't super ready, but I was a little bit worried, but took them, did great on them. Decided, cool, no big deal. I'm the man. That's just how I felt. You pass these things, I'm gonna go take another one. The first time I took my solutions architect associate, it was right after I got my solutions architect developer, and I was like, I'm just gonna go take it. I don't need to study for this. Oh man, I didn't fail it by much, but I did fail it, and it broke my heart for a little bit because I didn't know. I had forgotten what test failure felt like, and it hurt. It hurt my heart, and I didn't want to go take it for a long time. But then I actually studied for it. What I learned during that process was was that it wasn't a big deal. I was like, oh, everyone's gonna have something to think about me because I failed. First off, everybody be failing them things, for one. Two, you're the only person who took it. Can't nobody say anything about you. Also, everyone is supportive. Everyone, you think people are talking about you. You think people are gonna feel some way about you. That's not true. Everyone's in your corner. Everyone wants to, make it work. And then you'll be triumphant. Next time you come back, you'll know what to do. And then you'll be triumphant. So ain't no big deal. I'm 100% sure I'm gonna fail the Solutions Architect Pro. I scheduled it already. I scheduled it for April, which was a mistake because I'm having a child in March, which is gonna mess up the last couple days. But the reason why I scheduled it, one, I think it does give me enough time to do my best. I could definitely get in a place to pass it, but I'll likely fail it. It is a very difficult exam. It's from people who are way smarter than me, who mentor me, have failed it lots of times before they passed it. And I want to know, I've never taken it before, so I want to know what's on it. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to understand what's on it. I want to get I want to see the beast live. And I think that'll help me pass it the second time. I'm fully expecting to fail it the first time. You shouldn't go in with that, but if I surprise myself, I surprise myself. So yeah. Let's set up a router. You should check out DDWRT on the Linksys. Yeah, I mean, I used to mess around with that stuff a little bit, but then I don't. Do you have any study guide for exams? I do not. Maybe I should start. Maybe I should definitely start. Perfect. I'm glad. See, that's what we're here for. Uplift you. Hey, when you succeed, we succeed too. We just all around here, just succeeding left and right. It'll be amazing. Definitely be amazing. All right, so that was security groups. The only reason I threw side range in here is because this is important in a number of aspects of EC2 instances. But one being you use these CIDR ranges to determine who is allowed to access these ports. So this is the classless inter-domain routing. It's a method for allocating IP addresses and for IP routing. So earlier, Aya put something in the chat. It was a 0.0.0.0/0, and this is a way to classify a number of IP addresses. That is actually the IP address for anything and everything. But I'll show you how. I'll show you what that looks like, and I just want you to be familiar with this. This is also, you're also going to see this when you're allocating your subnets and things for your system. We'll get to all that, but I want you to see the word so that when we get to it, you know what it is. You'll see it a couple times. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to set up our first EC2 instance. Finally, an hour and a half in, we're going to set up our very first EC2 instance, and then we're going to learn how to log in, because logging in isn't that easy. Correct. Never open up your firewall to 0.0.0.0/0 unless it's for port 80. If you want maybe you have an amazing application that you want the world to see, and well, preferably you should be running it over port 443, but open it up to the world so they can access it. But yeah, you never open up your firewall to. I love it. Absolutely not. Now, just to go against everything that everyone said here for good security practices, on this server, I'm going to open up all the ports to every. No, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that, but I want to. I kind of want to. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead if you want to follow along and get logged in to AWS if you'd like. We're going to spin up our own EC2 instance, and you're going to see how easy this is, and you're going to be like, okay, I understand why the cloud is the way that it is. Yeah, you're going to be like, oh, super easy, super nice. So let's log in. Go ahead and click services and get on over to the EC2 dashboard. Now, first time through, actually, there's a lot of screens, which is kind of annoying, but you can do it real fast after this. It's also a really easy process from the command line, which if we have time, we will do today. If not, we will get there to doing some more from the command line. So welcome, botnets. Yeah, come on through. It's fine. It's okay. It's not my machine. It's somebody else's computer. And, but we did talk about, let's just be clear, people are giving out really good security advice. Remember, what do we talk about in terms of AWS? We talk about the shared security model, okay? We talk about, who's responsible for what. AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. You are responsible for the security in the cloud. So that is your responsibility to make sure things are secure and things are good to go. If it gets hacked, AWS is gonna be like, well, cool. I mean, we'll shut it down for you, or we might try to help you get it back. But yeah. Oh no, something that I wanted to see everyone's brain and turn to hams. Yeah, yes, we'll do a little bit. We'll definitely do a little bit, for sure. All right, so now that we're in the EC2 console, we have a couple options. There's a lot of different ways we can do this. There's a lot of different buttons to do it. There's one right here, launch instance right here if you want. So you can click right there. You can go into your instances if you'd like over here on the left, because we want to launch a new instance, and there's a button here to do it. A bunch of different ways. Do your best, find that big orange button somewhere in the EC2 console, okay? Find it somewhere and go ahead and you click on that button. You take your mouse, you click right on it, and let's launch this instance. And so you have two options. Just click on launch instance for now. Don't worry about the template one for now, but just that one. Oh yeah, first off, newbie guy, absolutely ask whatever questions you like to ask. I may not have the answer for you, but someone might. Definitely ask it. Redis is pretty dope. I don't know a ton about Redis replications though, so I probably won't know the answer. But ask away. Again, also everyone, if you're like, all right, there's a lot going on right now. People ask questions about all kinds of different things. You're like, Redis, why are people asking about something I've never heard of yet? This is what I'm talking. This is that immersion. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable, but this is that immersion. You will hear about Redis again in your career. And so, just watch the answer to this. If you don't understand the answer, just see, maybe you'll remember it when someone brings up Redis again and you're like, holy crap. I now, a year from now, someone brings up Redis and you now know what Redis is, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know what Redis is. And then I remember the conversation that was had in the chat a year ago. And so, yeah. How do Redis replications impact performance of the CPU? That is, I think, I'll let some other people answer that, but I think I have more questions. I have more questions on that. Yeah, it depends on it. Like I need a little more information. I think it depends on what your setup is, but I'll talk about that. Systems Manager is not a bad service. It's not a bad service at all. Not even a little bit. Systems Manager is pretty good. But you know, it's a little weird to set up right out of the gate. All right. All right, so here we go. We are in the screen to set up an EC2 instance. Pretty simple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through, and the first thing is to select our Amazon machine image. So like I said, this is the base image that you're gonna be running off of. So essentially your operating system. This is super weird to me to see Mac in here. That's super odd to me because I've never seen that in here before. This is actually the first time I've been in the console since they announced that. To make something like this, really interesting. You can have your own AMIs, you can upload your own, you can go to the marketplace. There are community AMIs that you can go grab, you can subscribe to, that have everything that you need on them. Great, but we're gonna use a basic one. Again, we're gonna use Ubuntu. There's a number of reasons why we're gonna use it, but you can scroll down and there is Ubuntu 20.04. Now, let's talk about a couple different things that are very important here. This is all the little extra tidbits, again, that you might get on the exam. One, an AMI, the identifying item of an AMI is an AMI ID. It's right here. Check this out. An AMI is only available in each region. This particular AMI is only available here. Yes, I can get an Ubuntu, the same Ubuntu server 20.04 LTS. I can get it in another region, but it will have a different AMI ID. The reason why I'm telling you this, is because farther down the line, this will be problematic. Let's say you and your company made your own AMI. You have all the stuff you need on this base image, and you're trying to use it, and you're trying to set up some disaster recovery, and you say, hey, like, all right, I'm gonna try to spin up this new AMI over on US West because everything just went down on US East, and you try to plug in the AMI ID, it'll say, hey, this is not a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. You're making stuff up. That's not here. And they are region specific. So this AMI, if I'm in Northern Virginia right now, I'm gonna go over to US East 2. And we should have looked at that. We should have looked at what it was. Here, this number, check this out. It ends in C148A. C148A. And if I go back to US East 1, it is 0450C. So they are different. Okay. How do AMIs different from containerization? So containerization is a completely different thing. Again, this is more akin to virtualization, to like a VDI or a machine image for VirtualBox or something like that. It's more akin to this. Containers work a lot differently in the way that they operate, in the way that they are sectioned off from each other. We can definitely talk about that a little bit deeper as well towards the end. But I think at face value they look similar right up front, but again, the operational aspects of containers is really what makes them different. Yeah. So I'm gonna select one. I'm gonna select that Ubuntu one right there. Now it takes you through some nice stuff. So you can see right at the top all the options you have to select. This is one of the hardest parts about the cloud. Again, all the options you have are what make it very confusing. So what do we have here? Instance types. T2 Micro. Remember I said this class will be free if you haven't already done a bunch of AWS stuff. We're going to choose this free tier. It's already selected. T2 Micro is free tier eligible. Let's talk about the free tier. Free tier, what does it mean? Free tier gives you a certain number of hours per month, okay? So let's be very clear about this. It says you get up to 750 hours per month for the first 12 months, all right? Let's be very clear about that. 750 hours a month for the first 12 months. So I think that means you can run this, and we can do some math, we can do some division, multiplication, see how many hours there are in a month. But you can run this, for up to a year for free. But that 750 hours is a total allotment. All right. These hours only count while this system is provisioned. If you delete it, it's not counting towards your hours. No big deal. So that's great. We can shut it down, save all of our hours for the month. If one system It's run for 750 hours a month. That's all of my time. If I'm running 2 systems full time, it's running, I could run 2 of these for free, but 2 of them is going to use up my time 2 times faster. So I may get halfway through the month and I may start getting charged for these instances. All right. So be very careful about this. You have a total allotment of hours. You can spin up as many servers as you like or spin them down, but if you're going to keep them running all the time, be very careful, because this is a total number of hours for T2 micros. So if we spin up 3 or 4 of them, they're counting in tandem towards that time. So just be clear about that. So we're going to use the T2 micro free tier eligible, and I'll say, hey, good to go. But you can see what we get. We get 1 vCPU, 1 gigabyte of memory. Great. And so check this out. Instant storage, EBS only. That's nice. Okay, yeah, EBS only. So it's backed by Elastic Block Store. We can actually change that. But yeah, cool. Some good information there. If that's everything I want, I can click review and launch. But we don't want to do that. We want to configure instance details. And now we get access to many more options. All right. How many do you want? I could provision 100 servers right now, no problem. Not an issue at all. I could probably do. There are limits. There are resource limits. There are limits to how many things you can do. It's sometimes they're difficult to find. Whatever. I don't think 100 is over that limit. I think I could provision 100 right now. And those limits are they were soft limits. So you can say, hey, if you really need to do it, all you got to do is, Amazon is just kind of trying to make sure like you ain't accidentally doing too much and trying to control some of the stuff. And you say, hey, I do need, maybe let's say the limit was 100 and I tried to spin up 101 because I really needed it, and I run into an issue. I could just say, hey, Amazon, I'd like to request for you to raise the limit for me to make more of these. And most of the time they'll be like, hey, what are you doing with this? What do you like? Let me just make sure you're not doing anything crazy with it. And if it's a reasonable thing, if it's a legitimate thing, they will give you more access to do so, because they want to make that money. It's just, you just got to ask. They're putting some gates in place so you can't do too much at once. All right, so then you got some other options. Look, I can request it to be a spot instance if I would like, and it tells me the current prices. Look at that. It tells me exactly what the current prices are. I'm gonna go off of this and okay. I wonder how often it updates. I have no idea how often it updates. Network, don't mess with any of this right now. I'm not saying mess with any of these things, but you can, these are just things you can provision. You can have different networks. You can have different subnets. You can have a public IP. It's already enabled to do this. Use subnet setting. There's a bunch of networking options that we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about VPCs and stuff. Placement group. If you have a selection of places where, servers are placed, you can have a placement group, bunch of stuff here. You don't need to know about all this right now. That's not going to be, I don't think anything about placement groups is asked on any of the associate exams, but yeah, bunch of different options. We talked about IAM roles. You can give the system a role right up front if you'd like. So role is going to be all of the policies that it has access to, of things that it has access to do. So if it can access other resources, we can assign it a role. I don't really have many other roles here. But we could give it a role, but I'm not going to. Shutdown behavior, what happens when you shut it down? Does it just stop or is it deleted? So it stops by default. Termination protection, if you want to make sure that like no one can delete it, you can turn that on. Some monitoring, you can enable that. Tenancy, remember, you can get a dedicated host if you want, more expensive. Great. Yeah, but just a bunch of different options here. You can add some more metadata. Leave everything default for right now and move on to the next step. This next step, storage, important. This is the stuff that backs it. Here you can kind of set this up. You get up to 30 gigs of EBS general purpose for free. So I'll change it to 30 since we get it for free, but you can leave it to whatever you want. 8 gigs is perfectly enough for anything that we're going to do tonight. We'll basically need none of that, but you can do that. And remember, you can add multiple EBS volumes to an EC2 server. When? Because this is something that is actually on the exam. When can you add multiple ones? When they are in the same availability zone. And so if you were to add one from here, if I were to add new volumes from here, it would allow it would basically set it up for me so everything is good to go. I don't want this, but I can delete it. But I can add more EBS volumes if I need more EBS volumes right from here. Makes it pretty easy. Next, add tags. This is that metadata. This is the key value pair. And so I click add tags. If I want to add something like name, then I can give it the value of our first instance. Okay, and I could add more tags if I would like, but it's just metadata. If we were to do some automated management of this stuff, or we need to filter something, I could use this metadata to find my information better, or I could identify a subset of servers or services much easier this way. Next, security group. Who can access what? All right. This is by default, it's going to set up a security group for you. And so it's going to be on the create new by default. This can get super annoying. If you spin up a lot of systems, do your best to not keep letting it create new ones, because then you'll get a bunch of these launch wizard security groups. All right, really annoying. I am going to leave it on that because that's probably what you're seeing. And so you can give it a name if you want, whatever, to make it more easily identifiable, base security group or something. But it's going to give you a security group name by default. And let's take a look at what the security group looks like right now. Right now, the security group is right here. And the first thing that's over here on the left is the port or the protocol. So SSH, all right, is the protocol that we are going to allow or deny or figure out what we want to do with. And right now, you have 20. Yeah, see? Right now, the protocol is TCP. There's two different, you can do TCP or UDP. We'll leave on TCP. Port range 22, that's the port that we care about. And it could be a range of ports. The source is going to be, I can do my IP. I'm not gonna click that because I probably should turn on my VPN service. I don't want you all to know my IP. But I'm gonna leave it accessible to everyone. This is, again, generally not what you're supposed to do. I think Alt-F4, someone put it in the chat. You can change this to my IP, or you can change it to anywhere. I'm gonna leave it on custom for now. If you know how to find your own IP, all that stuff is good. Classroom, Ridvic, don't do classroom. Those codes will work, but for older classes, do !register. And that'll get you to where you need to be. You'll have to put in your email, but after you put in your email, it'll send you the classroom links if you do want those. One day I'll add the codes here. Cool. So this is the default security group. So what are we looking at? It's basically saying, hey, port 22, this is a rule that says anyone is able to communicate with this server through port 22. Anyone is able to go through the gate at 22, the gate number 22, anyone can get through it, all right? Anyone, period. Any IP address can get through it, all right? Yeah, using my IP is completely fine. The problem is I don't know if my IP, I feel like my IP is gonna fill it in. Right there, it's gonna put my IP in there. I don't want it to do that. That my IP option is also a relatively new option, a very new option actually. And I don't know if it's gonna fill it in there or not. I don't wanna deal with that. So I'm just gonna leave it open for now. This does not mean that anyone's gonna be able to log into your server right now, okay? Yes, my IP will fill your IP. I'm good on that. What if my IP changes? This is something that you need to think about. 100%. This is something that you need to think about. But notice how this is a range. This slash allows you, this is a CIDR block. This is the CIDR is a CIDR block. You can actually put your own service providers, like you can put a range in there, like your service provider will only provide you you can actually get from them what their IP address ranges are. If you want to do that, you could do that. Or you can change it every time. If you realize your IP address changed, you can just go back in the console and change it again. It's up to you. Yeah. Should I put my IP if it's not static? Again, that's exactly that. Like if you feel like dealing with it. So this is not going to be a long-lived server for me. I'm going to leave mine completely open because they'll give you that by default. Again, by default, anyone can just log into your server. We're going to learn how to log in. It's not super easy to get in. So I think it's okay I think it's okay right now since most of us don't plan on doing anything major with this. Yeah, we'll set up a web server today, but the goal is going to be to tear it down so we can do good stuff. But yeah, it can get annoying. This is something to think about. How you give. This is something that you might have to solve as a cloud engineer. You might have to solve the problem of, hey, how do I give access to the people who I want every day. So like in the beginning, when I first started working at my last role, we were whitelisting IP addresses in here and of the developers. So whenever they worked from home, they had to put in an IP whitelist request, and we would whitelist it for the day, which was super dumb. It was dumb. There are better ways to do this. There are much better options now inside of AWS, but it's something to think about. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to click review and launch. Great. It's going to give me an overview of everything that's here. And then I'm going to click launch. And here we go. All right. I click launch, and this is very important. Do not click off of this page. This part is very, very important. This is your only way to log into the system. All right. EC2 instances do not allow you to log in with the username and password. Okay, so we've done some things with Linode before on here, and Linode does allow you to have a root password, a default root password, an administrator password, and you can log in with that. This does not allow for password login. You must use key value pairs, SSH keys, to log into it. What that does is it basically creates two files, a lock and a key. It puts one on the server. You get one. You get the other one. You keep that with you at all times. That's going to be the key to get into the server. And every time you try to authenticate with the server, it's going to say, hey, I got the lock. Show me the key. And as long as they match up, you are good to go. And so what you want to do is click create new key pair. All right. If you don't already have one that you use, click create new key pair. Give it an identifiable name. So I'm going to call this Horizons -EC2. You can call it literally whatever you want. Some people do it by the date, whatever you want to do, call it whatever you want. And click download key pair. All right, that's pretty important. I'm gonna put this in my documents for now. All right, make sure you know where that file is. That's very important. All right. Now there are ways, if you lose this key, there are ways to get back into your system. There are ways to get access to your data and stuff, but it's more trouble than it's worth, to be honest. So just just save it to your computer somewhere where you know where it is. All right. When you're done with that, click that launch instance button. And now our instance is being launched. We are provisioning a server in the cloud right now. All right. And right now it's pending. You can check this instance state. And it's pending. And we can watch it every so often. And give it a few minutes and it will spin up. Come on. You got to be faster than that. You got to be quicker than that. I don't like this new EC2. This looks different from what I'm used to. I haven't been in the console, like really playing around the console in a while. But now it's running. We do have a running server right now. It's up. T2 Micro. It's going to do some status checks, but you don't need to wait for that to get done. Notice, look, it's the availability zone. It is in US East 1A. All right, so I told you there's A, B, and C of most of them. So it's in 1A. That's where it exists. Why is that important? One of the reasons why it's important is, again, if I want to create an EBS volume or attach an EBS volume to it, it must be in that same availability zone. Then it gives you, if you selected the right options, it gives you a public IP address and a public DNS address. So we do have a public route from our system. It gives you a DNS address, which is this, as well as an IP address, which you can find here. Good information. And it gives you some other stuff to look through. It tells you what key you use to log in and tells you your security group. You can also find all this information down below. So all the information you need is here. This is why the console, you can do everything with the console, like I said. And all the information that you need is here. Okay. And it's up, it's running. We have a server. The AMI that we use, that Amazon machine image that we use, is just Ubuntu. There's nothing else on it. So it's just a computer running in the cloud. So there's really nothing for us right now. But what do we enable? We said, hey, port 22 SSH, you are now open. You're now open and available. So if that port is open, we can connect to our system now and do some cool stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about how in the world do we log in to this system. All right. So good on time. We're really good on time. Okay. Here's how you log into Linux systems. SSH. So we spun up a Linux machine. And why do we use Linux instead of Mac or Windows? The reason why is because Linux runs the world. Most systems and servers that you're going to be using are likely going to be in Linux. Pretty important thing to know. Cheaper. You know, it's something good for you to use. Again, like I said, Linux does run the world basically. Good for you to know. So SSH is the protocol that is used to log in. It stands for Secure Shell. All right, that's the protocol used to log in. So if you're familiar with RDP on Windows, remote desktop, and you're familiar with how to remote desktop into another Windows machine, that is a protocol. RDP is a protocol, and it's a communication protocol for you to be able to do that. SSH is the same thing, but it allows you to log into Linux machines from the command line. You cannot do password login. I think you can enable password login if you want. I've never tried this. I've never tried this. So this is all configurable inside of Linux in your SSH configs. I've never checked. I have no idea if it would work or not. It seems like they couldn't stop that from working, but maybe it's something we should try one day. Yeah, I mean, so maybe you could enable password login, but it's something you would have to configure on the server yourself, possibly. But by default, you don't get password login. You must use SSH key pairs to authenticate. And you must use the proper OS user. Oh my gosh, I put this in here. I was reading it, I was like, I don't know what this means just now. Yes, this is the dumbest part. This is the dumbest part about Amazon. It's the most frustrating part to me about EC2. I don't understand. I'm gonna show you what I don't understand. All right, to log into a system, what do you need? You usually need a username and password. Okay, great. In this instance, you don't need a username and password. You need the username and you need the key that you want to use. And the problem is, maybe they've changed this. I'm gonna check. The problem is that they don't tell you what user to use. And like I said, maybe it's changed, but it is infuriating, okay? Here's why it's infuriating. Each different distribution, each different Linux operating system you saw on there, even for the Windows stuff, there's a different user that is used to authenticate with the system by default. And they don't tell you that they don't tell you what it is. All right. Usually they don't tell you what it is. It's so dumb. It's the stupidest thing ever. So for Ubuntu, there's no easy way to find this you have to search. It's so weird to find. For Ubuntu, the user is Ubuntu. Okay. For Red Hat based distributions, it used to be for CentOS and stuff. It used to be root. Now it's EC2 user for just about everything else. EC2-user. I don't know what that is. The connect button. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know where that little connect button is. Where is the little connect button? I don't know. Someone point me in that direction, because like I said, this is a new interface to me. Oh, right here. It's right here. Okay. All right. That's helpful. This is new. This is definitely new. That's help. That's helpful. That is helpful. It's dumb that you have to click on there. I think I don't understand why. I understand why the user isn't root. That's cool. Makes sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. But I don't, well, kind of, maybe. I'll talk about that later. But I don't understand why they don't make the user everything, like the same for everything. Everything that they create. I really don't understand it. But cool. All right, cool. That's helpful. That's helpful. So it gives you, right here, it gives you your IP address, and it gives you this. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. Is this using, what is this? What is this? Is this their cloud? What did I just do? Is this new? Hold on. This is fancy. This is fancy. You just connect, EC2 Instance Connect. What is this? Hey, y'all, this is new for me. Hey, we came up in the world. This is nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is nice. I've never seen this in my life. So look, it looks like you can just click the connect button and EC2 Instance Connect. Woo, and it dropped me into a terminal in my browser. That is phenomenal. Beautiful, beautiful. Here's why this is good. This is good for a couple of reasons. One being that if you are on if you need to access your system, there's been times when I need to access a system when I wasn't on a computer that I had access to the key on. That is a big deal. So this is super helpful. And if you don't, I guess nowadays there are other options for you to set that up. There's Systems Manager and a bunch of other ways you can do it. But the biggest of which is that, hey, I can now access this from my browser. If I can log in, I can access it. And this looks pretty cool. I like this. I did not know this was a thing. I don't know if this has been a thing. I don't know how long this has been a thing for. Is this, let's see. Instance Connect. Oh, this is instance side. Never mind. This is not the, cool. I didn't know about this. I like it. I like it. But yeah, so that's one of the main reasons is if you are on a different machine. If you lose access to your key, you can do some cool things by getting in here and doing it this way, and being able to actually swap things out and fix things since November. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that I'm not tripping. All right. This is one of the problems with the cloud is things move very quickly, and you got to keep up. You got to keep up. This is exciting for me. I'm learning too. This is great. I like this. They picked it up from Walmart. Hey, look, I mean, because I do know they just got the is this the same thing as that new cloud console thing they have, like from the EC2 command, like not EC2, the AWS CLI thing? I forgot what it's called. I wonder if it's that. But never got any system info in my CLI. Razor Suit. Are you using Ubuntu? Like us? If not, it might not give you, if you're using a different distribution, like if you're using Amazon Linux or something, you may not get anything. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Very interesting. Cool. But I want you to understand how to get into it from your own console, because it's pretty important. Being able to log in through a console and understanding how to do that is important. This is, if you click the SSH client area, it will give you instructions on how to do this. But let's go ahead and get logged in. And so this is the part where if you don't know any Linux, it's okay. You can follow along with me. We are going to have to hop into a command line. Even if you are on Windows, you'll still be fine. Mac, you're fine as well. Anyone Ubuntu, that's weird. But we're gonna figure out how to get logged in. People move so quickly and come so fast. Nobody knows how anything works. Yeah, things are spottily documented at best. Yeah, I 100%. I'm with you. I have a lot of gripes about this, and I understand. For someone I understand how these things are built. I'm sure they have many different teams working on different things, but I mean, for a large platform like this, I think it's important. I just think it's important for, yes, it works great. The things work great, but it is, I think there's a huge opportunity to create a company-wide vision for the UX and UI of the services that you're working with. I know it doesn't always make sense across every single service. Like, I understand those nuances, I really do, but I don't know. It's a hey, let's just keep moving because people will use these things, and it's true. They're making money. They're making crazy amounts of money, but it would be nice if they put a little more effort into the overall experience. But we're gonna use it anyway, so yeah. Do you have to install the AWS CLI first? No, you don't have to install the AWS CLI first. That was all in the browser. You also don't need the AWS CLI to log into a system via SSH. You don't need it. SSH is available on every system nowadays. So it used to not be available on Windows, but it is now. So not a problem. You don't need it. Okay, so let's get logged in. Here's how we're gonna do it. Open up your terminal. If you're on Windows and you don't have any kind of Linux stuff installed, you can actually use either PowerShell or command prompt. You have SSH available to you as well. Okay, so that's really nice. This didn't used to be a thing. This did not used to be a thing on Windows, so that's why it's very exciting to me. Okay, and I'm gonna do this in Linux. All right, and so this is how you do it. All right, you need to know where the file, that PIM file is. So put that file somewhere where you know how to use it. If you're on a Mac or Windows, if you don't know how to navigate the command line very easily, go to where it is on the computer. So if I go right now and I downloaded this to my documents, this file is right here. All right, it's a .pem file, a PEM file. If you hold, I'm pretty sure this works on Mac. If you hold Control or hold Shift and right click, it'll say, hey, open up a shell here. Open up a shell here. So on Mac, it'll say open up a terminal here. If you don't have a Linux shell on your Windows, if you don't have WSL installed, it'll say, hey, open up PowerShell or command prompt here. Choose one of those. It doesn't matter. So it'll open up and it'll be right where you need it to be. So you don't have to worry about file pathing or moving to the right place. All right. So you just hold Control and right click, or maybe it's shift, hold shift and right click. I think it's the same thing on a Mac. I think it might be hold command, honestly, on a Mac and right click, and it'll say open terminal here, okay? So you'll be right where you need to be, right where you saved that file. And here's how we log in. SSH is a command line tool. And so Linux command lines, we're gonna issue a command. Have you ever used Cloud9 IDE with EC2? Yes. Yes, which is interesting because Cloud9 is just an EC2 instance. It is just an EC2 instance. So yes, I have. Cloud9's pretty cool. I do like it, but I think it's dumb now that GitHub code spaces exists, even though that's not general availability yet. But yeah, it's just an EC2 instance. All right, so here we go. SSH is the command that we're gonna use to log in. So SSH says, hey, let's use the SSH tool to initiate a connection with SSH. And normally, this is what an SSH connection would look like. Normally, it would look like this. SSH, and we need to say, hey, we need to tell it what computer we want to log into and who we want to log in as. That is the general setup, the basic setup of what we want to do. So SSH, and normally, like our system, it said the user is Ubuntu. So it would be Ubuntu at, and then it would be the computer's location, the IP address or the network address of that computer. So if you go back to the terminal and you look back at your instance and you grab either the public IPv4, this is important, either the public IPv4 or the public DNS, either one will work, okay? Either one will work. Make sure you choose the public one. The private one will not work. We'll talk about networking and why that won't work later. But this is, so I chose the DNS address. Like I said, you can use the IP address, not a big deal. This is the basic setup of an SSH command. SSH user address of the computer, okay? So, let's mark it up a little bit. We got the pin, let's use the pin and we can save this. And so first, the command, the user, and the address. All right. So that's the anatomy of this SSH command. All right. But that would, so if this was a server, so watch this. If I wanted to log into the system that I have created in Linode, I could say root at sandbox.mastermind.io. Okay. I could say root at sandbox.mastermind.io and I can click enter and it would ask me for my password. I could type in my password and it would log me in. I typed in it wrong. I just fat fingered it for sure. Yep, see. I type it in, logs me in. Great, very exciting. I'm in a whole new computer. Check this out, my prompt is completely different. I'm in a whole new computer. All right, I'm gonna get out of there. This will not work for an EC2 instance by default. So I'm gonna say Ubuntu at, and I'm gonna paste that in. Whoops. Oh yeah, my friendly quarterly reminder. In case anyone did not know, Windows has a clipboard manager. Okay, I don't know if you just saw what I just did. Windows has a clipboard manager. When you're copying things over the computer, if you want to see clipboard history, go ahead and hit Windows key V. You have to turn it on first. This is Windows 10, and you can see the history of things that you copied, and you can just click on it and paste it back in. Very helpful. A lot of people don't know about that. Really nice. I'm telling you, there are reasons why I've gone back to Windows, which I like Windows right now. So when I hit this, it's gonna say, hey, I see you're trying to get in here. New fingerprint, I don't know what this is. You can type in yes. This is gonna happen the first time you try to log into any server, any new server via SSH. I hit enter, doesn't work. All right, permission denied. All right, permission denied, doesn't let me in. It doesn't even ask me for a password because it's configured to not be accessible via a password, okay? So it's saying, hey, you didn't give me a public key. You didn't give me that key that we were talking about. So I'm gonna clear that out. And now I'm gonna show you how to use the key. The way that we do that is to add a parameter to this command. So SSH -I. -I stands for identity file. So the file that verifies my identity, okay? So you're gonna do -I, and then you're gonna type in the file name that you just called this thing. So I called it Actually, I have no idea what I called it. So actually I'm in the wrong directory anyway, because I didn't do what I told you all to do. What's here? Horizons. Okay, so SSH -I, so I can specify the identity file. And then I'm gonna type in the name of the file. My file is called horizons-ec2.pem. .pem. That's the name of the file. Then all the rest of the command is the same. So the user, the @ symbol, and then again, the last thing is the computer's address. So looks kind of long and crazy. Make it a little bit smaller so you can kind of see it on one line. Whoa. Okay, that looks weird. And all right, you're gonna get your first error. All right, so very exciting. And it yells at you right up front. It yells at you right up front. So actually so if you're using Windows Subsystem for Linux, the issue that I'm having here, you can't solve in the normal way that you would solve it. But basically, this is about Linux permissions. We just learned about those. That's not a big deal right now. We're not gonna dive too deep into it, but it's basically saying, because this is designed to be a secure thing, it's actually saying, hey, I'm not letting you in because the permissions on this file are too open. It's not saying, hey, I don't have access to this thing. It's saying, hey, I don't like that. The permissions of this file are way too open. I can't allow this, okay? So permission denied. So here's what we have to do. The way that you change this is to do chmod 0400 and the name of the file, okay? So on your computer, you type in chmod 0400 and the name of that file, and you hit enter. This is not gonna work for me. All right, yeah, okay, if you didn't have that issue, congratulations. This is, I'm running Linux Subsystem for Windows. This is not gonna work for me. That's not gonna change the files. The reason why it's not gonna change that is because I'm trying to manage my Windows system using Linux permissions. That's not really gonna work. I'm just gonna move this file really quick. Let me copy Horizons. I'm gonna copy it to my home directory. All right, I'm gonna try this again. So now I have this file. This file is now right here. Where is it? What? Oh, yeah, it's right here. It's right here at the bottom. And I'm gonna change the permissions really quick. So I'm gonna run that chmod command again. All right, and now if I look at the permissions, they're different. Before, these are the permissions. Read, execute, read, execute, read, execute. Now only read for the root user. And now I can try to log in again, okay? So we'll go ahead and run that login command again. And as long as your permissions are right, it will work. All right, and I'm into a brand new computer. Welcome to Ubuntu 20.04. I am in a remote EC2 instance. All right. That file is the SSH key. Yes, it's the SSH key. Okay. How do you get the name of the file? Yeah, that's the SSH key we made before. It's the one that you put in the console. Yep. Okay, so I'm in a new server. Great, I'm in the cloud. So it gives you a welcome message. That's a good way to know. Also, your prompt will change. It's user at the computer name. Now it's Ubuntu at the computer name, which is nice. So I'm all the way into this system, and we logged in for the first time. So we're in. This is how you access it. You can save that command. Or again, I didn't know this connect thing was here. You can also log in this way as well. If you like, once you know how to log in once you understand that you can use your SSH key, feel free to log in this way. This is pretty cool. I do use Session Manager, but you have to set up some stuff first. There's a little bit of setup that has to happen, but this is nice, really nice. Just click the button. So if you're having trouble, you can always just get in this way. You can control everything from here as well. That's really cool. I'm really excited about this. Really excited about this, actually. All right, here we go. I guess if you run a full VM, the file permissions may not be an issue. Yeah. Also, yeah, it might have downloaded it different. So one of the reasons why your file permissions are probably okay, it probably downloaded with the proper file permissions. For me, it didn't, because I downloaded it inside of Windows. If I tried to access this in Windows, I bet it would have worked. And actually, let me show you that. I bet it'll work, because the file, so I'm in PowerShell. Let me see the documents. I bet it'll work, actually, because here's a problem. SSH-I, what's the name of that file? I left it there. Ubuntu at, paste this in. and that worked. Okay, so this is PowerShell. I logged in from PowerShell. So this is the nature of learning your computers, because I'm using the Windows subsystem for Linux. For that subsystem of Linux to have access to my Windows files, it basically has to make them all accessible, and then I can't change the I can't actually change the permissions because they're Windows. It's actually Windows files. So yeah, it has to do with the file system and where I'm at on the system. So yeah, it probably works for everyone else. So some people had to, some people didn't. I get it. Yes, I didn't know about the Windows PowerShell SSH thing either. I kept telling people you gotta install Windows subsystem. People were like, no, sir. Or you gotta install PuTTY. People were like, no. PowerShell and command prompt. Windows, I'm telling you, Windows is coming around, y'all. It's coming around. You can SSH from here. It's so crazy. Yeah, the perms and subsystem are 777. Yep. Cool. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It took them 100 years. Windows, I'm not a Windows fanboy. I'm not a Windows lover. I'm just impressed by their shift in thought. And again, I think they are. I'm encouraged by the uptick in what they're doing. It seems like they're listening. They still got some problems. Like, this thing right here is a tablet. When I put this thing in a tablet mode, this is the worst tablet experience I've ever had in my life. I don't understand how it's so bad. You've been around for all this time. Like, get out of here. Man, it's okay. See, you see that? You can't do anything. Like, everything's popping up. It's trash, garbage. But you know, we're not here about that right now. Works well as a computer, so I'll just keep doing that. Let me get logged back in to the system. So now we're logged back into our system. Let's make it let's keep going. So security groups, we talked about security groups already. We don't really need to go that much deeper into it yet, but again, it's just a virtual firewall that lets you allow stuff in and out. So now here's the fun part. We make great time. We're gonna be out of here early today, which is nice. So, and then we can actually dive into some Linux stuff afterwards as well. So let's do this really quick. So you now have an EC2 instance, and if you don't know what to do with an instance, then completely understandable. But a server, you have a server. It's just a computer that you can do some cool stuff with. You can do whatever you want with it. It's a computer, and so a lot of people use the cloud servers to serve stuff to the web. To serve websites, to serve web applications. All that stuff is what a lot of people do, to process data, do all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, and so one of the first things we're going to do is learn about a web server. We're going to use this EC2 instance for a reason right now. Now that we have one, let's use it really quick. We're going to learn much more about what all this does and what we can do. But let's just set up a quick web server so we can get some instant gratification, so we can feel good about the thing that we just did, and we can get some context around what this can do. So web servers, what is a web server? A web server simply stores and delivers the contents for a website. Things like text, images, videos, application data to clients that request it. Clients are simply the computers that are requesting the data. Okay, the most common type of client is a web browser. So again, the computer is requesting the data. Whenever you request google.com, your computer, your browser is the client, and it's requesting data from the web servers from Google. All right. All this extra stuff, this is a little bit extra for what we need to know right now. Web server communicates with the web browser using the hypertext transfer protocol. All right, HTTP, you've probably seen it before. You've probably seen it up in your browser, up at the top. Come on, nothing's gonna show it. How can I make it show? There we go. You see HTTPS up here, but HTTP is the protocol of the web. It's the way that things transfer over the web. All right, HTTPS is HTTP secure. Okay, so it's hypertext transfer protocol secure. Really nice. But everything that's transferred is mostly HTML and CSS for what you can see, and there's a bunch of application code and stuff that can do this stuff. And web servers help take in requests through these protocols, through hypertext transfer protocol, and process these things and to respond to web requests appropriately, to respond to your browser appropriately. So we have a computer. And all the web server is, it's not something crazy. It's just an application. It's just it's an application that sits on the computer, and it sits and it listens for requests, for web requests. It processes them accordingly, and it responds with them. All right, pretty simple thing. No stupid questions. Yeah, like seriously, no stupid questions at all. Like there's no such thing. How do I disconnect from the EC2 instance? That is that's a great question. Actually, it's a great question because I would have never have thought to like go over that, but it's a phenomenal question. You can do it a couple different ways. SSH, you should disconnect your session, but you don't have, like, if you close the terminal, generally that will disconnect your session. Another way, couple of different other ways you can do it. You can hit Control D. That will log you out. That'll close out the connection. Okay, so Control D will do it. So I'll log back in. I can type in log out. Log out will also log me out. Okay. How else can I do it? Can I type in exit? I don't think that'll work. Exit does work. All right. So you gotta play around with some of the stuff. I always do Control D personally, but that's a phenomenal. That's a good question. Because you know what's funny? As soon as you asked, as soon as I read it, I was like, how do you exit? How do you exit from? I never exit. I just close my browser, or I leave my browser open until it I just exit out of my browser. So yeah. So I was like, how do you get out of it? So cool. Yep, Control D or log out or exit. But yeah. So yeah, if you do sudo power off, power off is a good one. You can also change the run level to 0. You can shut it down instead. But yeah. Cool. So a web server, just an application that we can install that knows how to respond to web requests. So we're going to install a web server really quick. What are some popular web servers? So these are some popular web servers. Apache, probably the most popular. I think that's changing, but there's a number of reasons that attribute to why Apache is absolutely still the most popular web server. Got to be the most used web server. You can't really tell me otherwise. You could be right, but I would not believe you. This has mostly to do with the LAMP stack. LAMP being Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. 4 different technologies that assist in serving the most prominent type of website, which is WordPress. WordPress kind of runs the web. It holds a significant market share over the web. A lot of people run WordPress sites, and Apache is the web server that runs that. That generally works with that. It is dope. Apache's really good for dynamic content, but a lot of people are moving over because of the way the world is kind of working and because of the way tech is moving. Nginx is a web server that people are using a lot nowadays. It's been around for a while. It's my preferred go-to web server. This is what we're going to use tonight. They are surprisingly similar, like in their configuration. Like if you were to set it up, I think you'd kind of understand how to move back and forth in between them. It wouldn't be if I showed you one and then showed you the other, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new world. I think you kind of understand it, but yeah. So Nginx, Apache Tomcat, I threw this in here. This is for Java. This is also made by Apache, the Apache Corporation or organization or whatever they are. But it's for running Java applications, and Microsoft has one as well called IIS. So if you're on a Microsoft server, you can use that. I think it's called Internet Information System. Maybe I think that sounds right to me. But on Windows systems, these aren't Linux only. You can get Nginx and Apache on Windows as well. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. IIS is for being hacked. I have worked with systems that had IIS. I dislike it a lot, a whole lot. So yeah. Noah likes Tomcat because it's associated with Spring. Yeah. I mean, people don't like anything Java related, to be honest. People have strong feelings about anything Java related, and yes, I'm not gonna call it hot garbage, but it might be like warm trash. How about that? Not hard garbage, but warm trash maybe. But yeah, everyone, I'm with you all. I'm with you on the F Java train. Like, I try not to be. I do my best not to be, and I don't hate Java for the same reason everyone else hates Java. I particularly hate Java because I've had to manage lots of applications. Lots of Java applications. I've had to manage the JVM in a lot of environments, and it has always been a hassle. It has never been straightforward. There's always significant problems. So Java as a language, I'm fine with Java as a language, but Java itself, I've had to manage Java applications as a systems administrator at scale. It's always problematic. It's never easy. Like, it's never easy, man. I can't go back. I can't go back because there's so much better things. But yeah. Yep. But Java itself, you know, powerful. I get it. I understand. I understand. It's a thing. It's a thing, but I don't love it. I hate Tomcat. I hate Apache Tomcat because me managing it always cause problems. So yeah, these are just some of the most popular ones. We're gonna use Nginx tonight. You'll see how crazy easy it is to get set up in a few minutes. So installing a web server, let's do it live. Let's go ahead and let's serve. Let's get ourselves up and running with a website right now. Okay. Could you roll out your own node server if you want it with EC2? Yes, we will do that. You know what's funny? We will do that right after. We're gonna start up Nginx, and then we're gonna start our own node server right after this. Okay. I'll show you how easy it is. But yeah, 100%. So let's go ahead and log back in, even though we're still logged in, and get ready to go. First thing I want you to do, first thing we're gonna do, if you're using whatever you're using, you need to we probably need to update it first. And so we're gonna update this. We're gonna update our system first. So this is the command that you can type in: sudo apt update. All right. If you're not familiar with Linux, not a problem. You know, the goal here isn't to learn Linux. Just do this along with me. All we're doing is controlling the computer via commands rather than clicking around. Okay. We're controlling it via the CLI, the command line interface, rather than the GUI, rather than a graphical user interface. They are both capable of controlling the computer. We are just telling the computer what to do via words. Sudo is right now I'm logged in as the Ubuntu user. If I ran this command without sudo, I'm gonna get some errors. It's gonna say, hey, permission denied, permission denied, permission denied. You know, when you try to install something on your computer and it tries to say, hey, do you want to run this as administrator? That is what sudo does. It says, hey, let's escalate our privileges to the root user, to the super user of the computer, and it'll work. Yeah, you could update and upgrade. You should. So whenever you get a new system, you should update and upgrade right up front. I'm lazy right now, and I actually don't know how long the upgrade is going to take, but sudo apt update will go out and it will update all of its repositories, and it'll update its databases to know what's available. And basically, if I didn't run this, we probably wouldn't have been able to install Nginx. It's gonna get out there and do all this. Great time to test sudo rmrf/star. Not a good time to do that. Everyone be careful about typing in commands that you see on the internet. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that right now. But again, honestly, Jalopy Jones, not a big deal, because we're in AWS cloud service. We cause problems. It probably won't let you do it. First off, probably won't let you do it. But if you were to do it, just delete it and spin up a new one. No harm, no foul. This is the problem with the cloud. If you were to RMRF your system at home, you break everything, okay? And now you gotta manually go through, reinstall the OS, figure out what's wrong, all that stuff. You do this in the cloud, terminate, spin me up a new one, super easy, no problem at all. Seriously, this is the power of the cloud. This is the fun stuff. So have at it. If you really want to, try it out. And actually, at the end of today, I'm gonna try that, because I actually have no idea if it'll let you do it. I doubt it'll let you do it, but I wanna see if it'll let me do it, and we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I don't think it will, but I don't know. But I want to mess around with it, so let's do it. Mongolian Beefy, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. It's good to have you. I do want to see. So remind me, don't let me get off of here without doing that. You all shouldn't do it until you see what it does on here. So, okay. So the updates are happening. Everything's good to go. We're all good. All right. Now we're already ready to install a web server. This is going to be the easiest install of your life. Okay. This is, you might think we have to do a bunch of steps to get a web server installed and to be able to serve a website. Well, let me tell you first. First, let's do this. I want you to go back and grab the IP address or the DNS address of your server, okay? So go back to that screen where it had the public IP address. This is my public IP address, okay? If you're not sure how the internet works, how computers work, this number address, this is like the address to your house, okay? This IP address is the network address of where your system is. And if people know your address, they can get to your house, all right? So that is why it's important. And so if I plug this into a web browser, I can actually use these numbers to get to my server. And this is how the internet works. The internet works via numbers like this. It does not work via google.com and the things that you know about. That your computer doesn't know how to use that to get to stuff. It's actually something called DNS. And DNS, what it does is when you type google.com in, it translates that. It goes out and it finds the translation to what IP address that looks like this that it matches up to, okay? And that gets sent back to your computer, and your computer actually ends up making a request to this place, okay? So it's pretty cool. So you can actually use, if you know the IP address, you can just use that address to get to where you want to go. So when I type it in right now, it says, hey, this site cannot be reached. So we can clearly see we're not serving anything over the web right now. All right, it's completely broken. Nothing good is going on right now. How can we, let's change that, all right? The way that we install Nginx is we're gonna type in sudo, S-U-D-O. We're gonna type in space. We're gonna type in apt again. This is a package manager. It's advanced package tool. Install Nginx. There's your command. That's it. That's the command that give you all the power, okay? This will get Nginx installed for you. This will get a web server installed right on your system. What's up, Sav Smith? Welcome to the channel. It is good to have you. B. Cheryl, how are you doing as well? Ahmed, good to have you. El Berheth, welcome. Edard04, welcome. Silent Dragon Son, good to have you. Balancing the scales, I love it. Good to have you as well. Pomade, welcome. DX Woo 55, Snoop TD. Hashtag Friday. I missed it. I missed it, man. I'm sorry. That was an hour ago. I can't believe I missed that. Hashtag Friday. Thank you so much. If you're still around, you're probably not still around. You're probably all playing some good old Call of Duty. Appreciate the love. You're coming through, being super friendly and helpful to me. I appreciate that. Why is Shred not as popular as RM? I don't know, but most likely because people haven't heard of it. Because you were saying new things to me. I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Hold on. Let me see real quick. Didn't know. I did not know I've never seen this in my life. Okay? Never seen this in my life. Dorian, thank you so, oh my gosh. Everyone's always coming through with so much love. Thank you so much. Again, we continue the war, the most important war on advertisements. You don't want to make sure we're not seeing any ads. Everyone, please thank your gifters. Thank you so much for that. I've never heard of Shred in my life, so thank you. Overwrite a file to hide its contents. Wow, and optionally delete it. Never heard of that. You taught me something new today. And I think the reason why is because people don't know about it. And I don't know. I don't know the performance of the implications of it. I never heard of that in my whole life. Excellent, thank you. Yeah, see, there we go. Use those emotes, okay? We gotta make sure that our emotes are the first ones next time. Yeah, you learn something new every day. This is what I love the most. I've been using Linux for a very long time, and you taught me about something I've never heard of in my life, so thank you. All right, this is the command that you need to install Nginx, all right? The web server. And you click the button, and then you get launched into the matrix, and you watch the characters fall down, and it says, hey, are you sure you wanna do this? Are you 100%? And we say, we know what we're doing. We are sure we wanna do this, and we do a capital Y right here to say, yes, do your thing, get ready, get installed, and it's gonna run through and it's going to install this for us. Get a nice little progress bar. Super cool. We're almost there. Come on, finish it out. You can't be taking breaks on us. You were moving super fast. Get 99%. You're almost there. Last 1%. It's taking forever. But just like this, we have our own web server installed. Okay. I don't know why it's taking so long, but let it wrap up. It'll be fine. It'll survive. It's always that last 1%. It is. It's, come on. Triggers for ManDB for the man pages. It's probably rebuilding the man database, I guess. There we go. We're done. All right. Can Apache and Nginx run at the same time? Gromit, phenomenal question. Phenomenal question. Let's talk about that. That's actually perfect. Your timing of that was perfect, actually. So Nginx actually is already running. I actually don't know when they started doing this, but the way that you can confirm that this is running, you can type in service, Nginx status. All right, service, Nginx status. This will tell you what's going on, all right? And it's already running. It's loaded and it is running. Nginx is already started up. It's ready to go. We have a web server running right now, serving over port 80. By default, it'll serve over the web port, which is port 80. Now, Gromit. Yes and no. All right, so by default, they will not run at the same time. If we were to install Apache right now, and we attempted to start Apache right now, which we can do in a second, it will fail. It'll fail to start. And the reason why it'll fail to start is, remember we talked about those ports, we talked about those gates. Only one service at a time can consume a gate, can be in a gate waiting for connections. Okay, only one thing at a time. So if something's already there at the gate, ready to accept connections through the gate, nothing else can do that. So by default, they cannot run on the same port. I mean, they cannot run at the same time by default. You can get them to run on different ports. You can configure the service to run on different ports. You got to make some changes to the configuration, but it is possible. But by default, out of the box, they will not run together. They will not run at the same time. So yeah, or you could reverse proxy to something or something like that. But yeah, why service and not systemctl? Great question, Warp 10. Phenomenal question. Honestly, because I'm old school, and in my heart, this is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. Nginx status. All right, I you got service from me because I was trying not to be as old school as I'm used to being. All right, I wanted to use sysv. Okay, this is the world that I know. I'm from this generation. It's mostly just because I mean, I don't know. So system service, I never type in service Nginx status. I did this for y'all. I typed that in because I thought that was the right one. All right, I typed that in because I thought that's what the new age kids did. All right, but no. Yeah, systemctl, sure. What is it? Systemctl. I always forget which order they go in. Status, Nginx, maybe. Sure, 3 different ways to do the same thing. All right. That the only reason I did not type that in is because I would have preferred to type in sc init.d Nginx status. Okay, that is the only reason. Let's see. Good question. Great question about. Oh man, Hellfire. Y'all are asking the good stuff. So for everyone not understanding the nuance of the question that he or she just asked, I said that I'm kind of old school and I like to use some of the older commands, but I also told you to type in apt update and not apt get update. Apt get. I had to force myself off of apt get. Apt get is my muscle memory for me. I generally want to type apt get, but you get some cool things like that progress bar at the bottom. Apt get by default will not give you a progress bar, a like colored progress bar. You got to give it some options to that. You can make it happen, but a lot of the apt gives you a lot of the standard options. I forced myself out of that muscle memory. That's the only reason. Only reason there. But yeah, good question. That's good. Okay. So Nginx is up and it's running, okay? And so if I try to get to this from the browser, say, oh yeah, I got my stuff up and running, and I try to refresh, and I'm like, what's happening? Why, I'm still not serving anything over the web, but I have a web server. Why am I not serving anything over the web? One, let me show you something else. Let me show you how, if you're like, hey, I don't know if it's working or not, you can make web requests directly from the server, and I can say curl is how you can do that. And I can say localhost. Let's do http:// localhost. All right, so if you're not sure what localhost is the DNS address for your computer, okay? It's for every computer can access itself through the network via localhost, or through the IP address. Remember we said that's DNS, or through the IP address 127.0.0.1. Okay, no, there's no place like home. Okay, this is your home IP address, and so I'll do localhost again, and I don't know why I did the D there. Pause. Okay, sorry. And I actually get some HTML back when I do this. Okay, and it says, hey, welcome to Nginx. This actually made a web request locally to the machine that I'm on now over port 80, and it worked. It said, hey, I got some data back, phenomenal, but I don't see it working. And perfect, you got it, B. Cheryl. This is specifically because of that firewall that exists, the firewall called security groups. So in our security groups, we need to go enable port 80 for this. So let's go back into our system. Let's go back to however you want to get back to your instance. You can click back on EC2 dashboard. You just got to get back to your running instances, okay? And when you get to it, go ahead and click on the one that you have here. And again, this is where some of it isn't super easy to see, but here we go. There's a security tab. So all I did was click our instance here, and there's a security tab right here. And the security group is what I need to go modify. So go ahead and click on that security group right here. Okay, so I need to modify the inbound rules. All right, so again, the web servers by default are gonna run on port 80 by default. And right now my computer is listening on port 80. I can show you how to check that in a second, but that's not important to know right now. That's some extra Linux stuff, but it's running the gate that it has open is port 80, but I cannot get to it from the outside. Why could I do it from the server? Because I'm not accessing it over the network. I don't need to go through any gates. I'm right there on the system already. But in here, the only thing that we opened up before was port 22. So we need to open a new port. So if you ever are having issues connecting to an EC2 instance over some type of service, make sure that you have access to do it through whatever firewalls are in place. There's like 4 other places that can be blocking it before here, but not a big deal. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you stumbled upon it too. Thank you so much for being here. Open port 23. I could open port 23, but I'm not gonna open up port 23. I'm just simply gonna, I'm simply going to open up a new source. And wait, what's happening here? Why does it look like this? All right, add rule. So I'm gonna add a brand new rule, and the custom rule I'm gonna do is HTTP. So actually, you wouldn't even need to put that in here. If you just put the port that you want in here, which is port 80, it'll fill in it should fill in on its own. And I'm gonna allow everyone. I want all of you to be able to get to my web server. Now, 130 people, if you were all to hit it, it's serving static stuff. It should be fine. If you refresh a lot, you might take my server down. I doubt it, but I'll give you the IP address if you want to hit it. But let's act like this is a real product. I'm gonna say, hey, everyone can access this, okay? And I'm gonna save this rule. Why did this go away? Okay, whatever. All right, I'm gonna save these rules. 0.0.0.0. So now port 80 is now open for everyone, okay? Now, if we go back up to our browser and give a little refresh, boom! Look at that. You are serving your first website. You are actually serving a website. This is an actual, this web page is just HTML, but it was downloaded as a part of when you install Nginx, it was downloaded and put on the system, and now you have a website. You are serving a website right now. This is the HTML that we saw from the console, okay? This is the HTML when you render HTML, this is what it looks like. You are serving a web page. Phenomenal, okay? Really nice, got something running, so good, the best. Let's check this out. You might say, okay, well, how do I serve what if I wanted to serve a real website? Let's do some Googling real quick. Let's go to the free. Every time I do this, I run into problems, but whatever. Free HTML templates. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a phenomenal stuff. So I'm not going deep at all. Yes, I love Nginx. I am a huge fan of Nginx and all of its abilities. This tonight was really about learning EC2. It's not really about learning how to use web servers. It was just showing something cool we could do on an EC2 instance. The main goal was to focus on the concepts around EC2 and then have a little fun with it. So not going deep into Nginx settings at all, but we can go in and I can show some configuration and stuff. Because I do think it's going to be fun to just get introduced to it. But yeah, not too far. HTML5 up. I think that's where we always end up. So I'm going to click on a different one. Nicepage.com. All right, so if you want to go to Nicepage, actually, before I send you this link, let me make sure it works fine. We're going to grab our own website, technology, okay? Well, it was meant for us to go here. All right, and I like video games. So click whatever one what does this mean? Why download for Windows, download for Mac? I don't know. Are we doing coding today? No, we're not doing any coding today. We were just covering some AWS topics, some Amazon Web Services topics. We just spun up our own web server, got everything going. I don't like that. I'll be honest with you. I'm going back. I don't like this website. I didn't like that at all, to be honest with you. Let's try something new. All right, this one has a computer here. Look at that. Focus with the Xbox, I think. What is that? All right, we're gonna grab this. All right, I'm gonna send you this link. You can grab this if you want. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna show you how to put a website, how a website works. So a website, one, you might say, what is a website? Website is just these are just HTML and CSS files. HTML is it's hypertext markup language. It makes the structure of a page. So you write HTML, you can structure out a page and get kind of the way that it's set up and some of the formatting. CSS is the thing that makes it look good. So CSS is cascading style sheets, and it allows you to make the web page look good. You can make really amazing websites with just those two things. So I'm gonna download this. It should give me a zip file. Actually, I'm not gonna download it. I'm gonna right click it, okay? I'm gonna right click it and click copy link address. All right, so right click the big download button. So go to freecss.com, free-css.com, click whatever one you want. Whatever one on that front page you saw that you liked, click on it, right click the download button, click copy link address. Okay, cool, copy link address. Now that you have it, we need to be able to download these files from the command line. So here's what we're gonna do. By default, these files are sitting somewhere. These files are in a folder called var/www/html. That's kind of the default web directory. So I'm gonna go into that directory. So I'm gonna go into cd/var/www/html. All right. And people will say this really fast. A lot of times they'll be like var/www html. var/www html. You know, that's what I say, var/www html. And you say it over and over again, and you'll know where to go. So I'm gonna click CD, and I'm gonna click var/www html, and now I'm in this directory. I'm gonna look in it. Right here, this file is what's being served right now. Nginx is actually serving this file. It downloaded it when you installed Nginx. And if I look at that file, this is that HTML. This is the HTML that's being served to you, okay? By default, the way Nginx is set up out of the box is to serve from this directory. So all we have to do is grab those free files and put them in this folder. If they're in this folder, Nginx is gonna serve it for us. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this to, I'm gonna move it back a directory. You don't actually don't have to move it. I could have left it there and it would have been fine. Whoops. What? Oh, because that was the last comment. Never mind. I'll leave it there just to prove it to you. I should have moved it back. I see what I did there. But I'm gonna type in wget, and I'm gonna paste in the thing that I just copied. And it's gonna download that for me. No, it's not. It's gonna give me a permission denied error. So what I want you to do is type in sudo wget and paste that in. And it's going to download a zip file with all of those things in it. So if I take a look, there it is. Okay, so you type in sudo wget and paste in the link that you got when you right click that big download button. Okay, and then we'll download it. And now I have this focus.zip folder here. Okay, or zip file here. And to unzip it, you type in unzip and the name of whatever you just downloaded. Okay, and unzip does not come by default, but it tells you what to do to fix the problem. I thought it did come by default, but I think this happens every single time, and every time I'm surprised. So if you copy, you just do sudo apt install unzip. Even if you've never seen the links before, you're gonna start to see some patterns. You can use tar. Hold on, I might have just learned something new. Now, I'm a big fan of tar. You can use tar to unzip. See, like, is that like, how come no one's told me this? Hold on, maybe that's why it doesn't come. Okay, all right. What do I pass in for this? Do I pass in a U? Do I pass in a U? You just might have changed. Oh man, come on, man. This learning all the good stuff. You all are making me great. You're making me great. And I'm gonna walk around and I'm gonna start telling people SVF. What's the S? What's the S? Let's see. Dash S. Let's preserve. Well, XVF. Oh, so that's how you untar stuff. But you can hold on. I mean, I gotta see. I'm just gonna do it now. I'm just gonna see if it works. I know how to tar things. So before I do that, tar XVF. So X is for extract. To extract this archive. XVF. V is for verbose. I forgot what F is. I think it's for file. I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. I see. I felt like, well, let me add a dash to it. Yeah, I knew you all were tricking me. I knew you were tricking me. I think you were tricking me. All right. All right. I never know when you all are trolling me. All right. I was like, can you use tar to unzip? But I installed unzip, so I'll simply unzip this file. And this is the zip. That's all good. This is the same unzip like on your computer. If you get a zip file and you right click and click unzip or extract or whatever, it's the same thing. You got to use sudo unzip, and it's going to make a new folder here. Now, the problem is you need the contents. You need all the stuff that's in there. You need it to be right where we are now. So I'm going to do a move. I'm going to move everything that's in focus. So focus / star. Star is a wildcard for everything. This is gross. I hate doing this, but I'm going to move everything to right here. It's going to move everything from that folder to where we are now. And it won't let me. I have to sudo again. And now, if I look, I got some new stuff here. I have an index.html here. So this was the original file that was here. The Nginx, the index.nginx debian.html was here before. If I refresh my page, it's going to serve this. I'm pretty sure. I'm saying that matter of factly, but I'm right, I think. And so there's a hierarchy of files that it looks for right up front. You'll see the word index a lot for websites. Generally, index is going to be the file that the web server is looking for to start serving. It's the entryway into the website. And so now I don't have to do anything else. I just go refresh. We got a website. And I can log right into here, unlimited web hosting, all this stuff. I can put my picture on here, and this is my new mastermind website, y'all. It got a fake Xbox on here. Watch this. Let's go ahead. Let's make sure Vim's installed real quick. All right, check this out. Let's do a little work here. Whoops. And let's change some stuff out. What was the title of the page there? Focus. All right, let's read only. I don't have all my cool Vim setups right now, so I'm struggling with this actually. Aaron is the best. The burst. Cool. I'm with it. I typed it wrong. I'm with it. But that's the metadata. That's not the real title. I just wanted that to be a part of the metadata. And this is just HTML. HTML is just text. Ain't a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Just a little bit of text here. About services testimonial. Unlimited web hosting. I want to change that. I want to change unlimited web hosting to Aaron's best site hosting platform. Yeah. Yes. Save it. Take a look and refresh. We wrote some new code. Yes. We are the masters of the internet. You can all get to my my best site hosting platform. Here we go. Here we go. There you go. Head to it. This is the site of my new startup. I just started a new startup. It's called Focus. And we do the best site hosting on off-brand Xboxes. That's how we live. It's multilingual. It's a multilingual site. And I'm the burst. Yeah, you know, this is how. So just like that, you can create websites. So now, now you've learned the ways of serving websites. Now you can do. You can go and you can be a web host. You know, you can grab yourself some EC2 instances and tell people, hey, I would love to host your website for you and possibly make a little bit of money. Yes, dedicated Xbox hosting. That is what my new Focus startup is about. Yeah, you know, doesn't work. I mean, it works just fine. Okay. More OnlyFans sites. Yes. Yeah. You know, you can go ahead and you can make them. So that's just want to show you, like, there's not, so I want to show you that there's not a lot of smoke and mirrors behind what you do. Like when you go to a website, nowadays it can be all kinds of different things, but this is likely what's happening for the most part. Is sitting on a server, and you know, there's a web server like Nginx or Apache, most likely Nginx or Apache, and it is taking in your request saying, hey, you're requesting this thing. Here, let me go ahead and give you back some data. And it is giving you back that data. So it's not a whole lot of wild stuff in there. So that's exciting. We got ourselves a web server up and running. So if you want to dive deeper into it, Nginx is I do highly recommend people dive into using Nginx because there are a lot of intricacies of it. Because right now I'm running one website, but what if I wanted to run other websites? Didn't we say, hey, Nginx, can only, it's running on port 80, and how can we do other things? And how can we, like, there's a lot of really cool features of web servers that allow you to control web traffic, to have logic and to understand and to know how to respond to web traffic. Okay. The website, is this costing you money to run? Yes, it is. Well, so no, because we're using Amazon's free tier, but eventually it will. It's running on a system. So yes, this is not, let me be clear, this is not the best way to run a website. This is just kind of the basic way the websites are run. It would eventually cost me money to run this website, but yeah, it would eventually. But you can do this. Let's say you want to grab a Linode server, or you want to grab a DigitalOcean server, or you wanted to grab it. Amazon has their own like a VPS competitor. It's called Lightsail. You can grab Lightsail and install something like this on there. For static websites like this, there's actually easier ways to do this. There's cheaper ways to do it through S3. You're about to learn about S3 next week, I think. So we'll talk about that. We'll set up another website. Yes, you can do it on a Raspberry Pi, 100%. You could. Because again, a server isn't special. EC2 instances aren't special. They're just computers with different amounts of resources. And Raspberry Pi, just a computer. So you can, as long as you can install the application on it and it's networked, you can do exactly this. If you have a student, link it to GitHub, and you can get a $50 DigitalOcean credit, dope. Or 200 Azure credits, dope. Also, again, if you're just looking for other servers and stuff, there's a link below here for Linode. Linode is a channel sponsor. It will give you $100 in credits there as well. So if you're looking for credits to try things out on different places, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity to do it. I definitely I'm gonna need to go grab my Azure credits because I'm trying to get up in there. What's the difference between EC2 and the server we set up on Linode? But now these are good. These are great. Now, at first glance, not much, okay? At first glance, you are getting, for both of them, Linode is giving you what's called a VPS, a virtual private server. They're giving you a system, a virtualized system. So is Amazon, but Amazon has the backing of EC2 behind it. So EC2 is a software service. And so what it does is it gives you the ability now to separate the compute from EBS. And that's why I said EBS is the real star of EC2 to me. So a couple things. One, scalability. So there are a bunch of other features in EC2 that we haven't talked about yet. About how fast and how quickly and the things that you can set up for it to respond to demand. We can set it up right now we can start with one server. And we can say, hey, once my server is getting a certain amount of CPU usage for let's say I'm over 50% CPU usage for over 5 minutes, go ahead and give me another server and another server. And hey, once we get to 5 servers and we're still, all of them are over 50% CPU usage for a 5-minute duration, let's make them all bigger instead. So let's get some bigger servers and then let's add more. So scalability is really amazing. It allows you to get more resources, okay? That's one big feature of EC2. This is why it costs a little more. This is why Amazon also has their own VPS offering called Lightsail and EC2. EC2 has a lot of extra things, a lot of flexibility things, a lot of, those EBS snapshots and the way that you can handle storage on the back end. You have a lot of different storage options. The DigitalOcean VPS, the Lightsail VPSs don't have all of those options. They don't have the same level of flexibility. They don't have the same level of managed orchestration underneath them. But at face value, for most of the things that you will probably want to do, they probably serve the same purpose, but EC2 will be more expensive. EC2 will absolutely be more expensive. The cheapest EC2 instance, like I said, is around $10 to $12 a month. Or the cheapest Lightsail or cheapest Linode server is around $5, and it's more powerful than that $12 a month server. But that's a really good question, and it took me a long time to figure that out. I was like, why would anyone want to use this? But those benefits can be great, but the scalability is the biggest thing. That Yeah, Aya brought up elasticity, so like the ability to on demand just go like get a bunch of servers, and then as your traffic falls off, you can have it drop back down. It's pretty impressive. They've got a lot of underlying tools that make EC2 pretty valuable for people. So yeah, all these cloud products do this: AWS, Google, and Azure. Yep, 100%. All the cloud products do that. This is why people love the cloud so much. And so that's not always needed. That's so when we first started this, I was like advising that people hopped in to AWS and grabbed themselves a little server as a development server and stuff. And I like AWS is a hassle. It like for smaller things, for stuff like this, it's a hassle. Like it really, like, to me, in comparison to something like DigitalOcean or Linode or even their Lightsail product, it's a hassle to do. Even Lightsail, because even Lightsail, you got to have SSH keys. Now, I prefer that. I definitely prefer SSH keys for security, but these are, to me, when I want little development servers and stuff, to me, they're throwaway servers. Like I like to keep all of my stuff kind of abstracted away. Like these are throwaway servers for me. And I do like platforms that are more catered towards quick development of things. So I don't know. I wouldn't say set up all your stuff in AWS, to be honest, but learn it, because companies will pay you a lot to set up their stuff in AWS, to be honest. Downloaded PIM, use PuTTY gen to fetch PPK. Try connect to the instance, connection times out. Tried to use my Linode machine to connect using PIM file. TCP dump shows send, sent, no reply. Try to enable all traffic and security group rules to try to ping. Oh, ping does not work. You cannot ping EC2 instances, I think, at all. Definitely not by default. ICMP is disabled, so you cannot ping it. Yeah, you won't be able to ping it. So you can probably connect now though, using it, but 100% you can't ping it. It is not enabled. Test a proof of concept service. Yeah, 100%. I agree. But yeah, these are running into issues just like that, Ritvik. Like you might be like, oh, it's down. I can't ping it. It's down. That's not true. You simply can't. You can't. It's not. ICMP is not allowed through their connection, so you can't ping them anyway. Also, AWS has serverless functions, which is generally not available in DigitalOcean and other services. Yeah, so I actually think DO has serverless now, but I mean, AWS is just on another level. Yeah, serverless functions. I'm telling y'all, it's not the end all be all at all. But as a solution, I love it. I absolutely love serverless technologies. Anything that I do, if it can be serverless, I will make it serverless. I love it. But I understand why people don't love it. It is not the magic bullet that everyone wants. Same thing with containers. Like, oh yeah, Kubernetes, yeah, serverless is the future. Nah, I don't believe that, but I do like it as a solution for me personally. What the SSH fails is port. So you said you have 22 open. What does it fail with? Is your PM file? Is it giving you a security error, or like are your permissions correct on that file? Because it might be giving you a security error. It's giving a connection timed out. So that sounds like a firewall issue, and it may be a firewall issue from your. It shouldn't be from your Linode server. It could be a firewall issue from your Linode server. If you're using Fedora, it might be an SE Linux problem, but I doubt it. But connection timed out sounds like. So did you opened up everything over port 22? If you enabled everything over 22, you should be fine. But a timeout sounds like or you may be trying to use the wrong IP address. You may be trying to use the internal IP address and not the external IP address, the public one. That could be a problem as well. So make sure you didn't use the internal IP address. Using public. Yeah, a timeout is there's certainly a connection. Try to enable all traffic and security groups rules. Try to ping and ping fails. Connection times out. Using PIM file. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's very interesting. Already unzipped the template. How do I install it? Oh, so I didn't take for the commands at the time. Oh, so Abon, to to install it, it needs to go in a specific folder. So if you already unzip the template, you need to move. If you're in this directory, if you're already in var www.html, you need to run sudo move whatever the name of the folder that is just created when you unzipped everything, star and dot. So the thing is, you need to move everything that's in the folder to the current location. Like you need to basically pull everything out of that folder and put it where you are now. So this is the command that you can probably use if you did everything else the way that we did it. The sudo move the name of the folder that was extracted, star, and then a dot will move everything to this current location. Meaning you can see the IP, but there's no response. Yeah, it sounds to me this sounds like a de facto security group problem, but it sounds like you said you had you have everything open. The other problem is I don't know if you have anything else enabled in your AWS. I don't know, in your AWS account. Like if you do, there could be all kinds of problems if you have VPCs and stuff and you don't have it in a default VPC or something. It could be problematic. This is where we need live share on VS Code to help troubleshoot together. I have VS. I got it. I told you I'm a VS Code user now. Yeah, if I'd love to, if you know, Rivik, if you wanted to live share something, I'd happily try to troubleshoot this problem with you. Got to run. Yeah, I'd have to run too. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Dope. Absolutely, Shregul. It's good to see you. Also, for anyone who is in Decoded, yesterday we had some computer issues yesterday, which were pretty problematic. So we didn't get to stream at all yesterday. We kind of, as soon as we started hopping on, Comcast decided they didn't want to give me any upload speeds, but all download speeds. And so we weren't able to stream yesterday. So tomorrow was supposed to be our first build series, but instead of build series, we're going to run yesterday's class tomorrow. So if you want to come through, great. I understand if you can't come through, not a big deal. I'm going to post it right after. And because of some of those issues, I have everything else queued up because we had a bunch of issues. The way that the videos got chopped up was super weird. So I've been fighting through putting them back together. So everything from this past week will go straight up and it will be good. Absolutely, Rusty. Have a great weekend. Stop instances would avoid any future charges. Right. I want to terminate. I don't want to terminate because reference. Man, my mind just blanked out. I actually think stopping it. I think you still get charged for your data that is used. Let me I don't know why my mind just I know this answer. But right now, I don't know this answer. AWS charged for stop instances. Let's see. No. Okay. No. Yes, I knew that. I definitely knew that. I don't. My mind is like, yeah. But yeah, you will be charged. Yeah. So things like storage and stuff, you will still be charged for if you have a bunch of stuff saved there, everything like that. But no, you will not be charged for stop instances. So go ahead and stop it. Yes, my ISP is Comcast. I live in Baltimore, and that's the only thing that you can get. Tonight it's working. Tonight it's working fine, but it was literally giving me like 900 megs download, and it was giving me 0.2 upload or 0.4 upload, which was crazy, like really crazy. It's been a very interesting stream. Excellent. I hope everyone got a little bit about it. So real quick tangible takeaways before we get out of here. Again, what is the goal for you to have learned tonight? If you want to learn some Linux stuff, there's some Linux slides in there as well. If you want to go through those. But what was the goal for tonight? It was to understand that EC2 was elastic compute cloud. All right. It is a way for you to get compute resources, CPU, RAM, but also storage. It is backed by storage as well. We learned about there's different types of there's different payment models for this. So there's on-demand pricing, the most expensive, but you get it when you need it. You pay for what you use. It's the most common way of accessing EC2 instances. There's also reserved instances. You agree to pay for long-term, 1 year or 3 years. You get a discount for that. Really great if you want to save a little bit of money. If you know you're going to be using a server for a long time, that might be the way to go to save yourself some money. Or you can do spot instances where you can bid on an amount that you're willing to pay, and when the prices for instances drop below that, you can get that compute capacity, and when the price goes back up, you will lose that compute capacity. This is good for workloads that could use a little boost at certain times or aren't it's not super important that they finish in a reasonable amount of time. There's a lot of reasons for this. A lot of people have found really good reasons to use spot instances. And there's also a dedicated host as well. We also learned there's different classes of EC2 instances that give you different things that focus on things like compute capacity or RAM capacity or IO throughput, things like that. So different instance classes, which is different from instance sizes, which is in each of those classes we can have large or extra large, which will give us more of any given resource, RAM, CPU, whatever it may be. We also learned that backing there's two different types of instance storage. There's instant store, which is ephemeral storage. This is storage that's attached to it. It's block storage that's attached to our EC2 instance, but it does go away. It's ephemeral. It goes away when the instance is terminated. But we have EBS, which is the real star of the show here. EBS allows us to have permanent storage that can survive even when we terminate the instance. It's really great because it allows for snapshotting. It makes it super easy to do backups. We can attach multiple EBS volumes to a single EC2 instance, but we can only attach a single volume can only attach to one EC2 instance at a time. But a single instance can have multiple of those. Really great, pretty cool. You can actually move them around to different instances, pull them away. We learned about AMIs, which is Amazon Machine Image, just the underlying base image for what we are like for what we're going to build for our system, our operating system, all that other stuff. We spent something up. We talked about web servers a little bit, ports, protocols, security groups. We talked about security groups as well. So a bunch of cool stuff there. Yeah, a whole bunch of cool stuff that will help. EC2 is great. Again, just understanding that this is just for the most part, it's a server platform. It gives you some of those other functionalities. Understanding that is what you need to know about the cloud. Understanding that there's a tool that allows us to do the things that we did tonight. All right, and a lot of what we're going to do is going to be diving into these major tools. There are 200 of them. Obviously, we're not going to dive into all 200 of them, but we're going to be diving into the major ones now, and we're going to be building out our knowledge of all these different things over time. So that's it. That's everything for this evening, except, you got to do it. You all said do the sudo rm-rf. What you want me to do? You want me to do /star? Come on, let's do that. Oh, wait, isn't it? Oh, wait, /star. Let's see what happens. Can't do it. See, computers are smart now. Now, it's still probably going to break some stuff, but for the most part, it's not going to be a problem. Operation not permitted. Then we're getting some issues. There's probably an overload to some of the stuff that happens there. Oh, okay. Well, look at that. It did delete some stuff. All right. It didn't fully break my system. It just mostly broke my system because I can't even LS, can I? Man, okay. All right, hold on. Oh, I can't even change directory. Okay, so we did break it. We broke it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. I also, I'm gonna say, I hope this is not my Windows subsystem for Linux and not the system that we just set up. So I wonder if it broke. I'm sure it broke our website. Let's see. Oh no, did our startups? Oh, well, it's funny because Nginx is still running, which makes sense. It's a process. The folders are gone. Our startup, we crumbled. Our startup's over. We they say, what, 80% of startups fail within the first 3 years or whatever. We just added to that statistic, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm gonna expect a call from Amazon. Come ahead, call me. Look, I'm paying for this. You let me look. It's my product. While I'm renting it, I can do what I want with it. Okay, that'll be okay. And now I will delete this because it's pretty useless to me. Our first instance is now useless. So if you want to get rid of it, you can right click it, go to stop instance or terminate instance. I'm going to terminate it. Good to go. See, all good. There we go. Because if you learned anything today, expect that to happen if you run it. If you run that command, yes. Don't run rm-rf star anything or slash anything. But sometimes it's good to see what happens. I didn't know what was going to happen, so it looks like it deleted a bunch, but the system kept itself safe from catastrophic failure. But it deleted some major things that I needed. I actually am interested to know what commands I could have run. Yeah, I'm actually. I should have gone as like I couldn't even see. I was gonna say I should have saw what was in the SBIN directory, but sounds like there was nothing because I couldn't do anything. I wonder what I could do. I don't know. But yeah, let's see if it deleted, if it terminated. Yep, all gone. It's all terminated. Oh, this is nice. This is okay. Never mind. It had a filter on it. I want to say because I'm used to seeing all the shutdown stuff stay there for a while, so it's interesting. So, hope you learned something tonight. Hopefully, you can use this information in the future. What are we doing next week? Let's see really quick. I think we're going to S3 next week, which is my favorite service because it is so versatile. I use S3 a lot, a whole lot. I think that's what we're doing. Let's confirm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we'll show you how to do exactly what you did tonight without having to set up a web server as well. But and we'll do some stuff with CloudFront. We'll handle load balancers. Oh yeah, all the scalability stuff is coming in next week. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Oh, you're a prince, and I just won $4 million. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That makes me feel really good. I feel wealthy now. I feel like a prince now. And thank you. This is right on time. Like I said, got a little baby on the way. We're gonna need that money. You wanna know why? Because first off, I wasn't thinking about all the crazy stuff that's involved with babies. Somebody was talking to me this past weekend, or I forgot how it came up, but I found out, all of you parents out there, look, I'm disappointed in y'all. Y'all have been sucking snot out of your baby's nose. All right? I found out that people have been sucking snot out of their baby's nose, and I'm disgusted, okay? Oh man, I almost passed out when someone told me this. I almost passed out, and then I had to look it up, and all the videos I found were people sucking snot out of baby's nose. I'm not ready. I was not ready. I know, that's what everyone keeps telling me. Everyone keeps telling me you got to. I sitting on the edge of my bed, just trying to get myself mentally prepared. So that $4 million is gonna really help me cope with having to do the snot stuff. Yeah, I mean, I saw the suctiony things. My problem was they have a little special one where like it'll stop, like you still suck the tube, but it'll stop the mucus. It'll stop it in the thing, but like that's still like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Who I'm gonna hey, I'm sure it'll be I'm sure when the baby comes, I'll feel differently. But yeah, the nasal bulbs I'll try all that stuff. But I'm just letting you all know I've been it really bothered me for a minute there. Definitely experienced. I'm excited about it. I'm genuinely excited about it. So so thank you so much for donating your Prince earnings to me. I appreciate that. Astyonics, thank you very much. When I was infant, my dad was holding me up in the air, bouncing me up and down. I was laughing until I puked straight in his mouth. So interestingly enough, I'm not joking. All of my good friends who have children, all told me to get ready for mouth throw up. And that one doesn't bother me as much. It's gross, but I don't know why. The snot one in particular, man, that really set me, that really set me up. But I also will say this. I will say that even when I got my dog, when I got her, before that, like growing up, we had dogs, house, yard and stuff. But we didn't pick up, like, I don't remember anyone picking up poop. I don't ever remember anyone picking up poop. And I got my own dog, and everyone was like, yeah, you gotta pick up the poop. And I was like, that is the most disgusting thing on the planet. And then a week into it, I was like, this is fine. Like, this is completely okay. So maybe, it'll be like that, but it doesn't feel like it's like that. Your mouth is something different, man. Your hand and your mouth are two different things. But I'm glad I could share this experience with you. I'm glad you could all share these horror stories with me. I'm cool with the peeing, pooping, mouth throw up. I'm with it. So first off, no one clip that. We're talking about babies here. Okay, context is everything on the internet. Please don't clip that. That would context everything. If someone just came in here, we're talking about babies. I can handle all those things, but I cannot handle, I don't know, man. The snot thing sounds like the worst thing in the world to me. So, I'm ready. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what makes me okay. But I need that 4 million though to, make it better. It needs to soothe my heart. But all right, we're gonna get out of here. I gotta go do. Oh, I have so much to do, y'all. Today's been the longest day ever, but I feel good. I'm glad to be here with y'all. My stream worked out fine today. Let's see who's online this evening. I don't know a faster way to get into the science and technology section of this, making me watch ads. We don't like ads. Is anyone else on Only Devs? No one else is on Only Devs right now. Let's go to science and tech. Absolutely. Be sure to hold one nostril close. Oh no. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, LTT's on again. They didn't see us last time. I don't like. They didn't say hello. They should have said hello. All right. Let's see who's on doing some cool stuff. Back tech startup. That's cool. What's the raid message? So everyone always asks that. I have no idea. I'm not good at making a raid message. What is the raid message? Someone throw out a raid message, and that's going to be the raid message that we use. Maybe not the first one that's thrown out, because we'll have to vet it. Absolutely. Good to see you, game. Okay, is Callow on? Heck yeah. If Callow's on, we're definitely gonna see Callow. Let's do it. Baby Snot. Okay. Callow will have no idea what we're talking about. I like Baby Snot. I like the burst. Let's I don't know who Joe is, but we can raid Joe next time. Definitely let me okay. Don't say Joe Mama. Please don't say Joe Mama. we'll do Callow creation tonight. But I feel like you're gonna say Joe Mama, because I would say Joe Mama. All right, here we go. We're gonna get out of here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, you were gonna say Joe Mama. You were gonna say it. See, I knew it. I knew it was coming. I'm a child, okay? I usually see these things coming way before they happen, and I caught that one a little bit late. But the burst not all. Thank you, everybody. That was great. I hope you all have a great night. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you next week. Peace out, everybody.